Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So, how is everyone? I hope everyone's okay. Everyone enjoying themselves, enjoying this nice, cold, freezing weather where you die regularly. Okay, so Alhamdulillah, another live stream, question and answers, and I think this probably gets the most. This Q&A probably gets the most views of all my videos in the week. So I think either you guys are just interested in question and answers, or wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, or you guys are free on Saturdays. Anyway, so I did do a little survey on my YouTube community sort of poll, and it seems as though you guys are interested more in what do you call it, in this time. So it looks like weekend Saturdays, evening time, this time is the kind of time that you guys are interested in. So anyway, let's wait for others to come on, and then inshallah we'll start the questions. So all day I've seen loads of questions been popping up on my Curious Cat, so I think I'm gonna have to go through a lot of questions today. Okay, wa alaikum assalam MP, yo, mashallah. Yeah, I like your new salam, yo. Valerie, wa alaikum assalam. How's your Saturday? My Saturday's been very good. I've been a bit busy with my niece and cat and nephew as well. They've been doing my head in. I had to take care of my niece for a little while. So yeah, so it's been good, alhamdulillah. And I've just been busy. Classes are finished, so I'm off from work for the holidays, and then I'm gonna try to utilize my holidays to get some more videos done. And also I'm thinking about starting the reflections series. So the reflections series that some of you guys liked, I think I'm gonna do that. So we're gonna do reflections on Surah Room, and also I might do, in the mornings, I'm thinking I might do something like reading classes. So remember I used to do reading classes before, Arabic reading. So I'm thinking about doing that. Let me know what you guys think. Okay, so let's have a read of your questions then. Ya Allah. Okay. Question time, guys. Just out of curiosity, how many of you guys ask questions on my Curious Cat? I'm not gonna stalk who's asking what question. I just want to know how many of you guys ask and how many other people ask questions. Alright, so let's start with questions. Right, so 20 days ago, I think 20 days ago is a bit too far back. 19 days ago, it's a bit far back as well. 18 days ago. $16 days ago, it's a bit far back, isn't it? Okay, 5 hours ago. You guys have asked loads of questions today. Okay, so Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Okay, I think it's from here. Okay, someone said this. In Guji, we call the lifesaver Bud No. Yeah, I think so. Basically, I put up this You know that picture that I've drawn of the jug in the toilet. You know the jug that you use, the blue one. So someone said that in Gujarati we call it the bud no. I don't know what does that mean. We call it in Pashto, we call it kuza. Kuza. What do you guys call it in your language? Let me know. Put in the comments. What do you guys call that? You know, that bucket. You know what I'm talking about, man. In the toilet, they have it, man. You do istinja with it. Okay, so will Ya'juj and Ma'juj drink up all the water and dry it up? So according to many narrations, it's mentioned that Ya'juj and Ma'juj will pass by the Sea of Galilee, which is the Bahr al-Tabariya, which is now situated in Palestine, Israel. So I say, when they go past it, they're gonna drink it up. So drinking it up, I mean, it's interesting because at the moment it's at the lowest level that's ever been in history since history was recorded. It's at the lowest level. So Israel is actually using that water for irrigation and drinking as well. So Wallahu alam. Next, can a madrasa confiscate items from students indefinitely, or is this a form of theft? No, they can't confiscate anything which is indefinitely, unless it's something which is haram. So something that's haram, possibly. But the madrasa don't really act as qadis, as judges, so they can't really take other people's property. Yeah, so madrasa cannot confiscate anything, nor can anyone else confiscate anything from you indefinitely. And it's not called theft, it's called ghasab. They call it ghasab. It's called usurping. Okay, can someone say smoking is haram on the basis that وَلَا تَقْتُلُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ, and the proven scientific research that smoking eventually kills? See, the thing with that is, how far does something have to kill you to be deemed haram? So we know, for example, stabbing yourself with a knife is haram because it's directly connected to killing you. But then living in a city, the amount of pollution, the kind of chemicals in the water, all these things kind of can kill you anyway. So that doesn't mean that living in a city is haram, or it doesn't mean, for instance, like eating fast food is haram because fast foods kill you, or eating stuff like that. So this is why it all depends. So in other words, killing yourself is obviously haram, but then to say that smoking directly kills you, and then it depends how much you smoke as well. So there's going to be some people who smoke a little bit, there's going to be some people who smoke a lot, and then different health. So it all kind of like, it all depends. That's why scholars can't categorically say that it's haram. I mean, the four madhabs don't really say that it's categorically haram, but majority of them say it's heavily disliked. Or if a doctor tells a person that it is most likely going to kill you, then it's haram for them to take. Yeah, but if it's going to kill you like in 40 years or 50 years or whatever, then you can't say it's haram. Wallah, Allah knows best. Ustad, can women visit graveyards whilst on menstrual cycle? Yes, they can. What is the reality of Durud Tunjina? I'm not sure. I mean, I haven't really kind of read it. I've heard about it. Is Durud Taji Bid'ah? I don't know. I'm going to have to read the wording. So if you can tell me the wording of it, then maybe I can do that. Is Ya Ali Madad and Nadi Ali Wazifa Shirk? So Ya Ali Madad. See, the thing is, when you say Ya Ali Madad, if you're asking Ali for help, then this is problematic because Ali radiallahu anhu has passed away, and then therefore him asking you for help is something which is not possible. Yeah, Allah only helps. So therefore, in that sense, if a person is believing that Ali radiallahu anhu has the power to help, like Allah has the power, that's shirk. But if a person is calling out to Ali, and then this kind of goes in the thing that we talked about in many other videos about the issue of istighatha, asking the dead to make dua to Allah to help you, right? So this is that. Okay, what do you do if you are in Jamaat and have napak clothing in your bistara complete and can't immediately wash them? can you still keep your bistara in the masjid? So if you're in Jamaat, I mean, I think he means Tablighi Jamaat, or in masjid, and you have impure clothing in your bag, then you shouldn't be keeping them in the masjid. Yeah, the masjid is considered for pure things, and it's not supposed to be for impure things. So you're not supposed to have impure things inside the masjid. So things like urine, etc., semen, soiled clothing, no, you shouldn't have them in the masjid. The masjid is a clean place, and you should avoid that. And Amir Saab said, a wet dream is due to a female jinn being intimate with you. Is this true? Allah knows best. I don't know. Yeah. So wet dreams are things people have. Men have it. Women have it. Muslims have it. Non-Muslims have it. And, it's just some sort of erotic thoughts that people have in their dreams is out of their control. Yeah, so it being jinn, I don't know. Allah knows best. Okay. Are things such as speeding, littering, spitting, pan in the street, spitting, chewing gum, etc. sins, and will you get guna for these types of things? Anything which is going to cause an inconvenience to anyone else, is potentially sinful. Yeah, anything that's going to cause inconvenience to anyone else, harming anyone else, because the Prophet ﷺ, he said that a Muslim does not harm anyone with their words or with their actions. Okay, 1 second. My nephew is making noise. Let me just shut him up. Yeah. Okay, so I tried to make him quiet, but I think he's wild. So he's a wild Pathan kid. Yeah, you can't make them quiet. All right, so let's continue the question. So like I said, when it comes to spitting and these kind of things, in itself, they're not technically haram or anything like that. But if it's going to cause harm to anyone else or to their property, then it's considered to be sinful in that sense. Yeah, so you can't do these kind of things. Who has more rights to name a child, the parents or grandparents? If the parent refuses to let his grandparents name the child, it is classed as disobedience. So I would say father is more rightful of naming the child, and this is something which is obviously the Quran mentions about the rights of the father. But I mean, see, these kind of things are all things that parents and grandparents should kind of come to some sort of reconciliation regarding. Yeah, so it's like, parents, respect your parents, respect grandparents, and sometimes you just gotta kind of like, you gotta give, you gotta let the grandparents name the child. I mean, my name Liaquat, this was named apparently by my granddad. Yeah, now I don't know, in that time, Pakistani community, I think Liaquat was like a famous name or something. There was like one of the ministers or something. It was probably before my time, but he was someone important, prime minister or something in Pakistan, had the name Liaquat. So anyway, so yeah. So I mean, if the person said, look, I don't want parents to name the child, it's my right, then the person won't technically be called disobedient, but it's something that with your parents, you shouldn't be so harsh with your parents, strict with your parents. As long as the name is not something which is totally wrong. Okay, Salam, I previously asked you a question about menstruating women attending the mosque for a funeral, and you said no. But what should a woman do if she is menstruating and someone in her family passes away, such as an uncle, granddad, etc., close relations, and the funeral and the puri is held in the masjid, and then khatam is done on the third day, is also held in the mosque? Does that mean that cannot attend all? This would mean she wouldn't be able to see the deceased face or do condolences with any of the family members because the puri is being held in the masjid. Is there any scope for a woman to attend? Can you please explain what a woman can do in this situation? What if there was immediate family such as mother, father, brother? Okay, so see, these kind of like death kind of situations. The thing you have to remember about these death masail is the children, not children, the deceased. When you have deceased, there's no specific way of how you deal with the deceased. Like, for example, some cultures, the women, they don't look at the deceased face. I think this is looking at the deceased face is more a Pakistani thing. I don't know if Bengali community do it. I don't know if Indian community do it, or Africans or Arabs, as much as Pakistanis. Pakistanis seem to think that looking at the deceased face is like something very important, and everyone tries to go and look at the deceased face. It's not something important. It's not necessary. There's no reward in looking at the person's face. I don't know why they kind of consider it, but yeah. So it's kind of like it's just the kind of thing that some cultures do. So yeah, you don't have to look at the person's face, and you don't have to be in a particular place. You don't have to be in a masjid. Like, you don't have to go to the masjid to sit there for 3 days. You can be done in someone's house. And then if the community is going to provide facilities for men and women in the masjid for 3 days bereavement, then they should provide for the women, they should provide an area which doesn't fall under the rulings of masjid. So when we say masjid, we mean the prayer hall area. So as long as it's not in the prayer hall area, it's in another part of the masjid, like a sitting area which is not designated as the Shar'i masjid, then it's allowed. Yeah, the women can go there and they can sit there, because it just falls under a normal part of the building, not the masjid itself. So a lot of people are not really familiar with the kind of masjid kind of rules. So the masjid rules are the area which is designated as a masjid by the committee, which is usually the area where the people pray their salat, 5 times salat, that area. Okay. Is it okay to have metal wire behind teeth, although part of the wire touches the gums? I mean, why are you going to have it behind the teeth? Is it for rectifying the teeth? If that's the case, then it's allowed, yes. You can have it. Because for medical purposes. How do you know God's real and Islam is the right religion? Okay, this is a good question. I mean, this is a kind of question which, when I was young, like in my teens, this is a kind of question that I used to get in my head. And I used to think to myself, like, how do we know Islam is real? And how do we know that the other religions, people are following other religions? So this is something which a person understands through learning about Islam, learning about how humans live and how humans think and how humans perceive the world around them. So you think about these things, and then as you go through, your mind kind of like starts to create some sort of like a philosophy of how the world works. So some people's philosophy is that nature is God. Some people's philosophy is that the sun is God. Some people's philosophy is... All of these philosophies that we have, these philosophies should be tested. Yeah. So in other words, if anybody has a certain philosophy or a sort of like a doctrine or some sort of a belief system that they've created, in order for us to be able to see whether that belief system is correct, we should be able to test it. Yeah, there should always be a test. And if someone is not willing to test that belief system, then that shows that belief system is problematic, right? So as a Muslim, the Quran, in fact, it tells people to test this belief system. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's test is that, قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ اللَّهُ الصَّمَدُ لَمْ يَلِدْ وَلَمْ يُولَدْ وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ. So the essential things that Allah is telling us about Himself in the Quran, these are the things He's telling us to test. Is there anyone besides Allah? Is there anyone that can do this? Is there anyone that has done this? Where did humans get this from? So these things, when a person reads the Quran properly, studies the Quran and understands it, they start to think in a very, very like a reasonable way of how we perceive our existence. So this is why you can only know if God is real, Islam is real, if you study Islam. Study belief, study Islam, ask the scholars, and that way you clarify your beliefs. But if a person, for example, like there's many people out there who ask a question, or they become Muslim and they ask a question, but they're not really kind of asking a very deep question, they're just asking a very superficial question. So some people, when they ask about God, their thinking is, let's say there's like 10 levels of thinking. Yeah. Sometimes some people's thinking when they ask a question is at level 1 and 2. right? Does God exist? And you say to them, yeah, it exists, and then they'll accept it. And some people will say, does God exist? And they might be thinking, their thinking is at level 4 and 5. So you'd have to kind of convince them more, and so forth. So when you look in the Quran, when Allah talks about Himself in the Quran, He's addressing different levels of people. So some of the people that are being addressed will be reminded about Allah's bounties. Some people that are being addressed will be reminded of the consistency in Allah's law. Some people that are being addressed is regarding some other sort of like aspect. So this is why, yes, how do you know God? So like I said, you can't know God is real just by one answer. It's something which you have to study, something which you have to learn. Yeah, reasoning, you got to use reasoning, and the Quran encourages us to use reasoning. And I mean, a good thing to read would be Hamza Zotis. Yeah, so Hamza Zotis, is it Zotis? I can't say his name. Check him out, and he's got a book. He's got a few books that he's written on belief, Aqidah, and they're very, very apparently they're very good, very well written. Okay. Right, Salam. I wanted to ask some questions, but I need to explain some experiences have brought rise to these questions for you to understand from. So I have a cat called Ginger. When she's hungry, he asks for food, so I give it. When he needs to go relieve himself, I let him go out the house. When he's finished and needs shelter, I let him back in. The same sort of case can be shifted to any human interaction with aid is given. Why do we say Alhamdulillah, all praise is due to Allah, for what we have been provided, when our rizq is given through other people? Yes, I understand that they are unable to do anything without the will of Allah, and all they have is from Allah, but they made a choice to help me, and so shouldn't some thanks be given to them? So I struggle to say Alhamdulillah, as my heart says all praise is not due to Allah, because of what I said before. At times I even think bad things like I am this cat's Rabb, similar to what Fir'aun said. I feel hypocritical saying Alhamdulillah, and so what is correct thinking I should have? Okay, so this is a good question. So let's break this down then. So first of all, should we thank other people? Of course, we should definitely thank other people. Quran even tells us time and time, Anishkur li wa liwalidayka, thank me and thank your parents. Thank other people. Yeah, so the Prophet ﷺ said, whoever does not thank mankind has not thanked Allah. So in reality, when we are appreciative of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when we are thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what we're actually doing is we are thanking at various degrees. So for example, like if I thank my parents, that is in reality thanking Allah. Because what I'm doing is I am obeying Allah in how I should treat other people. If I'm thanking my boss, I'm thanking Allah. If I'm thanking the postman who delivers my letters, I'm thanking Allah, even if he's a non-Muslim. So this idea of thanking Allah. So Alhamdulillah, when we say Alhamd, this does not mean thanks. This is a confusion of translation. And I think a lot of people, what tends to happen, and I think I was saying this to some students the other day as well, that what tends to happen is with us is that we, unfortunately, we don't really study Islam properly. Like we don't know the Quran. Most Muslims don't know what's in the Quran. That's the first problem. Second problem is we don't take time out to structurally study Islam. And thirdly is most of our teachings of Islam, it comes from what do you call it? Teachings of scholars on the minbar, like people who give bayans, or from YouTube, or from social media posts or WhatsApp posts. That's where we get a lot of our religion from. That's the honest truth for most of us. So we obviously have to think that the sources that we get our religion from, like if we don't know what's in the Quran, and we're not taking time out to learn properly about what Islam is about, like a weekly dars we're not attending proper dars, or whatever, not just question and answers, and we're just listening to what scholars say on YouTube in talks, then we are not learning proper Islam. Talk is not designed to teach you about Islam. It's about teaching. It's about motivating you. That's what it is. So, and unfortunately, it has to be said, a lot of people who give talks on YouTube, on social media, on the minbar, they don't really they're not experts in what they're talking about all the time. So they might be talking about mental health, but they might not be experts in mental health. They might be talking about, let's say, politics, about what's happening around the world, but they're not experts in politics themselves. They might be talking about I don't know, social problems in the community, but they don't really have much experience in social problems, knife crime, drugs, etc. So, there's lots of problems that we have, and unfortunately, because of this list of problems, what tends to happen is many of us have a distorted, like this kind of manufactured image of what Islam is about. So we believe in Allah, alhamdulillah, we believe in the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but besides that, a lot of the other things in our mind is a bit fuzzy. What do we believe about the Day of Judgment? What do we believe about this? What do we believe about this? So this is why I personally believe that, look, a lot of people will have doubts, confusions about Islam, simply because of this. Every single person, I believe, every Muslim should try to make some sort of effort, and every community and government should try to make effort, Muslim government, to teach people what the Quran is saying. Yeah, that's the first thing. And also, people, if they can't get that, they should at least learn about structured Islam. Okay, so anyway, so this is why thanking other people, alhamdulillah, is a very good thing. You should thank other people, right? And when a person realizes that, look, you thank other people, and this is what Islam is encouraging you, you naturally want to thank Allah. And then look, when someone does something for you, you realize that that person has done something for you because Allah has given them ability, Allah has given them hands, Allah has given them vocal cords, Allah has given them a mind, Allah has given them a healthy body, etc. And that person has utilized that in the best way, so you thank that person. And then when a person is very close to Allah, they begin to see Allah's workings in everything. They begin to see Allah's workings in the trees and Allah's work. I'm not saying Allah in the tree, don't get me confused, right? So I'm saying they begin to see Allah's workings in everything, and then they begin to they kind of rise up and above everything in the world, and they begin to only be able to see Allah. This is a very high level of faith that person reaches, and they don't have it continuously. It's that sometimes you have this. Yeah. Okay, so, and the other thing is saying that you're the Rabb of the cat. That's fine, totally fine. Yeah, because even in the Quran, the Yusuf alayhi salam, he calls the minister, who has purchased him, he calls him his Rabb. Innahu Rabbi ahsana mathwaya, he is my Rabb. So calling yourself the Rabb of something in Arabic is fine. Yes, Fir'aun made the grave error, right, of him saying, I am Rabbukum al-A'la, I am the highest Lord, I am the highest Rabb. That is not allowed. Yeah, so there isn't anything wrong with what you said here, and it's natural. Yeah. Okay. Next one. I asked a question earlier. I mentioned the story of my cat Ginger. I had a follow-up question. Now my cat needs food, shelter, and safety. The same goes for me. Yet my desires are also make me yearn for respect, power, and money. I live in a community. If I do something wrong and others see me, they would think bad of me. For example, if it is for Salah, I am with a group of Muslims. If I don't go to pray, they might think I'm a hypocrite. Worst case thought, or anything that might change the way they think of me. Or even in Salah, my heart says that if I don't pray the correct way, like stand still in Salah or sit properly, others might think bad of me. Another example is, let's say I want to get married. My understanding, which is probably wrong, is that if I don't pray or do good, earn well, no good person would want to marry me. Finally, the worst thought that I've had is that if I'm not a Muslim, then I would not be able to have any respect in the community, live well with my family, live normally with Muslim friends, etc. The last thought really bothers me, because whenever I have doubts on existence of God and Islam, I can't deny that this external motivation is a reason for me trying hard to get my iman back. You may ask why I have attached so much importance to respect, praise, and attach so much importance to people, where I've tried to remove the desires for praise and other bad traits for the past year, but it's not improved. Rather, over the past years, my desire have distanced me from Allah. I either give up on doing good because I know my bad intentions, or give up the fight against my desires, leading me to bad deeds in insincerity. After some advice, I think that I need to realize that I need to only depend on Allah, who is a Samad. There is no power might except Him. Allah, He controls our status. Question 2 is that is this the way to improve? But why do actions have an effect on my status and rizq, or is this illusion? So, I think you've mentioned quite a lot here. Again, what I would say is, look, our understanding of who Allah is crucial for us to truly appreciate Allah. If we don't understand Allah properly, we are not going to appreciate Allah. And in that case, if we don't understand the Quran properly, we are not going to appreciate Allah. Because Allah has explained Himself in the Quran in the most in a perfect way. So I would say in this kind of situation, look, have respect, yeah, have praise. I study, I teach. Sometimes I go to an area. I remember once I went to Bradford once, yeah, which is from Birmingham, which is about a 2-hour drive. And I went to this place to play pool, yeah, you know, pool, with some friends. And what happened was over there, because it's like a big center, they got football and different things. A few guys met me, and I haven't met them before, and they seen me on YouTube, you know, on Facebook, etc. So sometimes when you see this naturally inside yourself, you feel like this, like you know, subhanallah, look, people recognize me like this, and you get inside, you feel a bit, you know, I'm important, you know, which whether it's right, whether it's wrong, that's not the point. The point is humans naturally like to be recognized for something. They like recognition, right? And there's nothing wrong with the recognition. So in your community, if you are praised, if you feel like being praised, or you feel like these things, these feelings do not necessarily mean you're a good person or you're a bad person, right? So this is why I would say, look, correct your understanding about Islam, learn more about Islam, and stay in the company of decent people, upright people. Because sometimes, unfortunately, some people, they overthink, right? Sometimes, you know, you'll be texting someone something and you haven't thought twice about it, and you just text them, and that other person is like, you took like, you know, 30 seconds typing the text, and the other person spent 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes thinking about what you wrote, pondering over it, going over it again and again, and a day goes by, 2 days goes by, and they're thinking of what have you written, why have you put that full stop there for, why have you used capital letter here for. Some people overthink naturally. So I think the person who's asking this question, you seem to be someone who overthinks things too much, which doesn't seem to be a good way of kind of, you know, living your life. I personally think it's not that good, right? Sometimes I'll overthink certain things that happen, but you just carry on. You just got to carry on. You know, don't overthink things. Carry on. Do what you have to do. Stay in the company of good people. Good people is a good measure, a way of gauging yourself as well. Salam, do you have to do istinja every time you use the toilet, or is wiping tissue sufficient? No, you don't have to do istinja all the time. If the urine or feces goes a lot around the area, private area, then you have to use water. Otherwise, tissue is fine. Because the Hanafis even allow small amount on your body. Small amount is allowed. Okay, I meant using water istinja every time. What about if you got a problem and you go to the toilet several times in a few hours? Can you just wipe in tissue? Yes, you can swipe tissue. Assalamu alaikum. It's really good that you are uploading different types of videos and series in the channel. Personally, I would like to see more videos from you on lectures, khutbahs, etc. I know you said that you don't like speaking, but I like to listen to these type of videos when I'm at home doing housework, cooking, cleaning, and I listen to them several times over and over again, and that way I pick up a lot of things and find them very iman boosting. Can you recommend any channels or speakers on YouTube who you think of videos are good and motivation so that we can listen to them? Jazakallah khair. I will try to record some more of my Jummah talks and stuff. I actually did record, I read this message, and then I actually, because of this message, I actually recorded my Jummah talk yesterday. Jummah talk yesterday was about Surah Asr and, you know, situations that Muslims are going through today. So yeah, I can do that, inshallah. I'll try to do that. I mean, who do I listen to? I mean, I don't really listen to English speakers that much. Sheikh Zahid Mahmood, I think, is a very inspirational speaker. Very good speaker. Besides that, I don't really kind of listen to too many people. I don't know why. Sheikh Siraj Wahaj, I think he's a very good speaker. Yeah, I like his talks. Okay, Salam. What classes do you teach at Sufa, and do you teach sisters as well? I teach full-time classes and part-time classes. So in a Sufa, the full-time classes we have, the sisters are taught by female staff, and the males are taught by male. So the full-time is separate. But the part-time, we teach both. So we have, parallel classes running. So we have like mic system, we have camera system that is projected onto the sister's side so they can see and ask questions. Yeah, that's it. Salam, do women have to open their plaits for ghusl? Also, can you explain the correct way to perform ghusl? So do women have to open their plaits for ghusl? No, they don't have to open their plaits for ghusl. According to the Hanafis, they don't have to. And a woman, all she has to do is wet the scalp of her hair. So as long as she gets water inside the roots of her hair, yeah, that's the main thing. She doesn't have to wet the rest of her hair. So if she was to tie the rest of her hair and just as long as get water into the scalp, that's sufficient. Okay, and how do you perform ghusl? So ghusl is basically washing your entire body according to Hanafis, including the mouth and the nose. That's all. That's ghusl. So as long as you've done that, you've kind of technically done the ghusl. Alright. Assalamu alaikum, Sab. What books do you teach from the Arabic grammar and tarkeeb course? What books do I teach? I don't teach any books. So basically, I've got a series. If you look on my uruk.com, urooq.com, uruk.com. So if you go on there, I've got a whole list of courses that you can register for. So one of them is called the Arabic Grammar and Tarkeeb course. So what I've done basically there is I've taken 40 hadith from a book called Zad al-Talibin. It's 40 hadith. And every lesson I've taken some of those hadith and I've structured Arabic rules based on those. Right? So I've taken from many books, how to structure it. And I give my own handouts and everything. So it's kind of like you can say my own kind of Arabic grammar based upon what I've read. And it's just applying it to hadith. So at the end of it, you learn hadith, you learn some tarkeeb, how to do tarkeeb, and you learn Arabic rules. Does a guy who breaks into the Facebook account of the girl he likes, making sure if she doesn't talk to any other guy, blocking her male classmates, getting angry at the girl out of insecurity, and accuses even his own friends of being jealous of his relationship, make a good husband? You guys tell me. If this kind of person, I think this husband should be a bit, should be sanctioned. It seems a bit over controlling. This person seems a bit over controlling. It depends on who you're asking. I would personally not like a husband like this, who likes to snoop into everything. But it could depend. Some husbands might be okay with it, may think, this is okay. I personally don't agree with this. My friend likes a girl from Pakistan. The good thing is he's hardworking. My friend likes a girl from Pakistan. The good thing is hardworking and intelligent, but he's very insecure. He's hacked that girl's account and has broken into her account many times to make sure she doesn't talk to anyone else and has got angry with her many times. Should I inform that girl? And don't you think my friend needs mental health professional? I don't know about mental health. I'm not an expert in mental health, but I think the girl should know this. I think you should inform the girl, tell her he's like this, because if he's like this now, and she thinks, he's something else, this is a deception, this is. And no one deserves to have a spouse, whether it's male or female, that does this kind of stuff. Yeah, because it's just over the top. My TL is full of tweets from your Arabic study group. I would like to know, when did you design this course and how did you design it? I've seen some of your students doing translations and writing in Arabic just after 17 lessons. Do you have a set curriculum for your students to follow after 17 lessons? Okay, this is what I'm talking about was before, the Quranic Arabic 17 lessons. So a lot of people, alhamdulillah, have done this, and I've since last year we've actually started this online. Yeah, we've got like WhatsApp groups, and sisters have a group and brothers have a group, and they have TAs and brothers have TAs. And so we actually had one sister who has actually completed the 17 lessons today. She did it in 17 days, and she's from Birmingham as well, so mashallah, Birmingham, yeah. But before her we had a brother who did it in 10 days from Pakistan. So Pakistan, yeah. So anyway, so we've got lots of people doing these courses, and they do learn Arabic very fast. I mean, you'd be surprised. And so what I do is on Twitter I put up like little tests, quizzes, and a lot of people, they kind of try to participate in them and try to answer as best as they can. They don't get it all right, but alhamdulillah, if you think about it, someone learning Arabic at that fast level, right, and then it kind of motivates them to go and continue. Yeah. So so after 17 lessons, I do have other courses that they can follow-up courses they can do. Surah Yasin, Surah Mulk, Tarkeeb course. They've got like Balagha, 2 courses on Balagha. Then you got Classical Arabic course and a few more as well. Ajurumiyya. Yeah, so there is. Jazakallah khair. Thank you for the good feedback. Okay, if you are a masbook and as soon as you start, the Imam simultaneously changes position, he gets up from sujood. Okay, I get some from sujood. Do you quickly go into sujood or do you stay standing? Stay standing. Yeah, so if you come late to salat, basically, you come late to prayer, and the imam's in sajda, what do? So you can stay standing, wait for him to get up, or you can get into sajda. Now, if you know he's getting up, you can stay standing. The Prophet ﷺ did actually say that when you come to salat, you should join the imam in whichever posture he's in. So if you find him in ruku, just go into ruku. If you find him in sajda, go into sajda. That ruku or that sajda won't be counted, but it's it's the kind of like the principle of salat, which is following the imam in every position. If you are a masbook and the imam is already in qaida and you start and go into qaida, but the imam gets up from the third rakat as soon as you sit down, should you read? No, don't read at-tahiyat. Get up. Following the imam is more important than doing your own action. So as soon as he gets up, you just get up. Don't read at-tahiyat. Should you try to give zakat locally rather than internationally? I think you should give both. Give it locally and give it internationally. See, locally is very important because you want to strengthen your locality. You want to strengthen the Muslims in your community. And we're starting to realize this now in the UK, that look, there's lots of Muslims in the UK who are in a very impoverished state. They are in a state where their children are growing up and they don't have enough food. I mean, I basically see a lot of this because I work with the Sufa Institute, and the Sufa Institute provides food bank, which is providing food for those people who don't have enough to buy shopping. And sadly, sometimes you see mothers having to come there, Muslim women, because they basically can't afford to feed the children with the salary they've got. So people in their situations, sometimes you see them across the world, and sometimes even in your locality you see your own Muslim brothers and sisters who are just scraping it just to provide for their children. And we think that the UK government is the best. It's not really the best in the whole of Europe. It's not the best for social standards. Other European countries actually they outstrip the UK. But it's just, unfortunately, they fall into this, and poverty is a very bad thing nowadays. You never want to see kids in poverty. So I think locally give it. Find out in your local area who's poor, who requires money. There's lots of people who need money in the UK. Lots of people who want to, even students of knowledge who want to go university and they can't afford it. Okay. Yes, some people might argue, isn't it better to give it abroad because they're starving and the ones in UK are not really starving? I mean, the issue is, who are you to decide? That's the thing, isn't it? It's as long as they fall under the qualification of qualify for zakat, then it's not really your wealth, it's just theirs. Is eating a hot cross bun impermissible? No, it's not impermissible. I mean, I know that its origins are supposed to be based upon some Christianity beliefs, but no, it's not, because the cross doesn't really signify anything anymore. What studies books should a Hifz class student also do? Evening Hifz class student who also goes to school in the day. I would say learn some basic rules about salat, prayer, wudu, and basic translation of the Quran. Because salat, because you're going to be leading salat, and then you need to know if you do make a mistake. And Quran, because when you're reading the Quran, you want to know what you're saying, so you know where to stop correctly, and you know how to emphasize your voice. Are the following allowed for men? Hair transplant, Fu method, hair transplant, strip method, hair thickening fibers, hair disguise spray. I don't know these methods. I mean, okay. Basically, the thing you have to remember is, look, when you have hair on your head, according to the Hanafi madhab, if you take a bath, the hair has to be washed. Right, the hair has to be washed. So if you're putting anything on the hair which is creating a barrier, according to the Hanafis, according to classical Hanafi position, it would be the wudu won't be done. However, some of the Hanafis do argue that if men have plaits, do they have to open their plaits? Do they have to wash their? So there might be scope for that, right? Depending on, I don't know what the method is. And if it's gonna put some sort of glue on the head that is gonna stop water from getting there, then that won't be allowed. But again, if it's for medical purposes, then there might be some scope. So I haven't really researched this masala properly. I've just kind of seen it now. I'd have to know more information about these methods. What is the Fu method, strip method? So I mean, when people ask me these questions, the thing you guys have to remember is, if you ask me this method, I'll have to research this method. And it's 4 things that you've asked now. So if I research each one, takes me 15-20 minutes to do a thorough research. Not even thorough, a basic research of each one. That's like an hour, that is. So I don't really have that much time to kind of look into these things. If you could give me all the information, if you could research it all yourself, find out what the food method is, the strip method is, fiber thickening method, disguise method, find out all of these things, give it to me, and then I can, look up the Islamic side of it. And this is, unfortunately, this is what happens when a lot of people ask questions. They think the person they're asking it to has prior knowledge to all of this. And in most cases, a lot of people, when they ask me a question, I have to go and research it myself to exactly know what they're talking about. And then from an Islamic perspective, sometimes I might even have to research there as well. Okay, do cousin marriages result in health problems for kids? Allah knows best. I don't know. There's nothing really Islamically authentic about that. In Ramadan, can you eat right until the Fajr Azan ends, or do you have to stop when the Azan starts? As soon as the Azan starts, you stop. And basically, as soon as the Fajr time starts, so if the Azan is not at Fajr time, the Azan is like 20 minutes later, no, you have to stop as soon as on the timetable it says Fajr starts. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. What's the ruling on a woman dyeing her hair whilst menstruating? It's allowed. Is her ghusl after finishing menstruation accepted? Yes. Because the dye is simply a color, it's not creating like a thick coat on top of the hair. So I've studied Birgavi's Awail selections from Jami' al-Durus and also Durus al-Lugha. There are still some mabahith which I haven't covered yet now. So I don't know if I should register for this course. Do you have a course on which you teach Shar Qatr al-Nada? I'm looking for something similar to that level. Okay, I think this was a question. Well, I do actually provide Shar Qatr al-Nada. I'm going through it. I think I've done about 15 lessons so far of it. But that's only for my patrons. So if you're a patron, then you get access to these. Usul al-Shashi and this and Muqaddim ibn Salah. Okay, assalamu alaikum. Where did you study? I studied in Pakistan, in Karachi, in a place called Jamia Ulum al-Islamiyya, Banuritan. I studied there. Salam, I have a daily dilemma with my mum who backbites about people all the day. As a South Asian community, that's all they pretty much do is backbite each other and constantly insult and talk badly about each other. I often hear it quite clearly as I be sat in the same room, and my mum talks extremely loud. It's a constant thing in my house, and I can't sit in my room all day as that is very hard. I heard you talking about this the other day and saying you can't sit quiet if someone is backbiting, as it is as though you have taken part in the sin. I have advised my mum before, but she won't listen because it's such a norm for her. What should I do, as it is so hard to avoid, and it's also bringing me down mentally? Have to hear all this. Am I getting sinned? In this kind of situation, you won't be sinful because you've tried your best and you don't really have anywhere else to go. Then you won't be counted sinful. I'm quite freaked out by this whole evil eye concept, as people comment on things so much these days that evil eye could easily happen. Okay. Assalamu alaikum. Could you advise me, as I find it hard to have fear in my heart from Allah? I feel Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is so merciful and loving that I find it hard to be afraid of his punishments, even though I know he is able to punish me with lots of harsh punishments. But I find it hard to actually accept he will punish me because I love him and don't intend any bad. So why would he punish me even though I do sin due to my nafs? It's a weakness, but it's not like I deliberately intend for bad. It just happens, and I don't have the strong will to say no to my nafs, but I will feel bad afterwards. Yeah, I mean, see, this kind of thing, this is like feeling bad afterwards is a type of fear itself. And then having this concern about the fear of Allah. Fear of Allah does not mean that you live constantly like, in with your head down and as though, you are worthless. No, it doesn't mean that. Fear of Allah means that you live your life abiding by Allah's laws. That's what fear of Allah means. Yeah, and every time you feel like doing something wrong, you think twice about it. In your heart, you hesitate. That is the fear of Allah. Now, some people are going to be strong in that. Some people are going to be weak. Some people will try to abstain from a sin. They'll try 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and maybe they'll fall into it. This happens to everyone. So don't worry about it. These are things that do happen. You just have to balance your life. What I would suggest is listen to the stories of the people of the past, prophets, Sahaba, and others. Listen to their stories. Listen to their life. Yeah, and these are the kind of things that will remind you. Read Quran. Read the translation of the Quran. So these are the kind of things. Sometimes what can happen is someone might might listen to too many like talks that talk about the kindness of Allah, the gentleness of Allah. So you have to balance it. That's why the Quran sometimes talks about punishment, sometimes talks about blessings. It kind of like counters each other, balance each other. Okay, if you are very close to the next prayer time, can you omit reduced things in Salah, e.g. Fatiha in third and fourth rakat? Yes, you can, according to Hanafis. Can Abdals travel around the earth via teleportation? Allah knows best. I don't know about these things. There's nothing authentic regarding it. There's nothing authentic regarding like magical people that travel around the world. If there are, Allah knows. Like jinns, maybe. Shias claim Sunnis believe in misyar. Is misyar still relevant in Sharia? So, if you mean by misyar, depends what you mean. What do you mean by misyar? If you can let me know what you mean by misyar. Can men dye their hair, beard, any color apart from pure black? Yes. How do you respond to the claim that Hur al-Ain are grapes? I've never heard that before. Hur in Arabic language literally means wide-eyed. Yeah. White-eyed, not wide, white. Hur. Yeah, it's the whiteness in the eye when there's a lot of it. So like, someone's got big eyes. So yeah, you can see the whiteness. And Ain means big-eyed, large-eyed, and whiteness. So it's like it's something which generally men see as something which is beauty, right? So I've never heard of it. Grapes. I mean, Allah knows best. For the past 2 years, I've been going through ongoing test. Alhamdulillah, it's a minor test. The last year, however, I feel I have changed a bit, maybe because of my test. For example, I've left all social media platforms. I don't have an interest in TV anymore, especially I don't like to watch anything that involves people being killed, as it does not sit well with me. And generally, dunya-fied things that used to excite me don't as much anymore. I don't feel like this all the time, as I do slip here and there. These changes feelings make me feel a bit lonely sometimes, as I feel like I'm going through them alone, as my husband and family are not experiencing the same things as me. Is all of this normal? I mean, I don't know. I mean, see, I'm not an expert in these kind of things. These kind of things are to do with more mental health. I'm not really an expert in that. What I would suggest is maybe, go on holiday somewhere, change your environment. There might be something going on in your family, something that's happened and it's just lingering in your mind. Go on holiday, change your scenery. Okay. What is the state of wajd? Wajd is just like a mental state where a person is overwhelmed with feelings. So if a person, like, they're watching a football match and they get so excited that they just go crazy and then all of a sudden they realize what's happened. So wajd is like that. It's just like it's like a ecstasy feeling. Yeah, that's what it basically is. Kitabs and posters I seen in a DUL, wherever that is, in a dull, state that glancing at one's own private parts weakens the eyesight. Sometimes it is inevitable when moving. I haven't really found anywhere in the texts that say looking at your private parts is wrong. Although it should, I don't advise anyone to just keep looking at their private parts. But if a person does, I don't think anything wrong with it. Can a mirror be used when removing hair from intimate areas? Yes, they can. Can men use hair removal cream? Yes, they can. Is wiping the face after dua sunnah? It's mustahab. Yeah, it's mustahab. Are shaitan's army his progeny or just evil jinns who have disbelieved in Allah? Evil jinns who have just disbelieved in Allah. They're not his progeny because the jinns existed prior to him. Are meteors thrown by angels, and is this connected to the fortune tellers anyway? Not all. So when the Quran mentions about jinns or shayateen being shot at with asteroids or meteors, this doesn't mean that all of them are like that. It just means that this is one of the way they attacked. Yeah, so meteors could be for many reasons. It could just be, a cosmological sort of like event that takes place, a phenomenon that takes place, and jinns being shot by angels. That could just be part of it. So there could be many reasons for why meteors are shot. Okay, if you have wudu and use a tissue to clean your nose and see redness on the tissue, but nothing is dripping from flowing out of your nose, is your wudu broken? If you have wudu and use a tissue to clean your nose and see redness on the tissue, no, wudu doesn't break. According to Hanafis, if you were to dab it, then your wudu doesn't break unless something flows, unless it's flowing. What is flowing blood basically means that if you leave it naturally it will go over the wound and it move itself. That's what it means. So if it's in a wound and it's not moving and you squeeze it and it moves, it's not flowing blood. So same with the tissue. If you have a wound and you dab it with tissue and the blood gets on the tissue, it's not flowing because it's not naturally flowing. Okay. Does your wudu break if minor scabs that take a long time to dry are touched and wetness, blood plus can be significant? No, wudu don't break because of that. Is the opinion that states that dead people are punished if the living people see their photos? I've not come across that. No. Yeah, that wouldn't be the case. Unless for example, like it's a vulgar part of the body which they're not supposed to see, and the deceased told them to look at it or to spread it, then they may be punished for that. Otherwise, a dead person is dead. I mean, why is he even punished for? Can a man use extremely brown hair dye? Yes, he can. Is it permissible to travel to us? See, the black is specific. In other words, because the black has been used, some of the scholars say we just stick to that. We just say black is not allowed. All of the colors are allowed because it was mentioned in hadith. And some say that black is only allowed. Black is not allowed for old people, but for young people, if they're getting white hair before the time comes, they're allowed to use it. Otherwise, all of the colors are fine. Is it permissible to travel to a specific place just to read behind a certain imam? Yes. Are sujoods for sajda tilawa fard outside of salat? They are considered to be wajib, not fard. Wajib. Yes. Are you allowed to look at a prospective partner apart from the meeting you have, i.e. check their photos? Yes, you can. If you are very serious about them, yeah, you can. A lot of Pakistanis claim to be from the Prophet's lineage and give themselves titles such as Qadri, Sayyid, Sayyidas, etc. How do you treat such claims, and should these people bring forth proofs? Yes, these people have to bring proofs. I mean, it has to go through the father. It's a paternal lineage. So a lot of people, they can't prove it. It's because they've heard that name Sayyid in their family, or like in my village it's like Mia or something else. Then you have to prove it. It has to be proven. So if it can't be proven, then no, they're not Sayyids. Yeah, and sometimes they have to be very careful because they claim that they're Sayyids and some of them are poor, they can't take zakat then. So it just makes themselves, very difficult on themselves. Can a woman wear deodorant, roll antiperspirants when leaving the house, especially when it comes to... Yes, of course. Please use it. I beg you, please. Yeah, use it, man. Yeah, so the perfume that women shouldn't use in public is perfume that's going to deliberately attract other people, right? So if it's going to attract other people, yes. And if it's like washing up liquid has, in the clothing has a fragrance, or you're covering up BO or something like that, it's fine. Yeah, it's a slight perfume which is not extremely strong, and you have to be very close to smell it. That's allowed. Is Ji'rana more rewarding to Aisha? Is more reward to Aisha or traditional umrahs? I don't know if it's more rewarding. They're both the same. Aisha radiallahu anha was the Masjid Tana'im, and Ji'rana is a bit further. These are two places where you do ihram to do umrah, right? So to do umrah, you go to the outskirts of the haram. So Tan'im is inside the haram area, right? Or the miqat area, and Ji'rana is a bit further. So obviously if you travel more, there's more reward in traveling, but they're both the same. Is a mobile number an amana? Should you seek permission before you give someone's number to someone else who is requesting it? I would say out of courtesy, yes. Out of courtesy, you should respect people. You shouldn't give out people's numbers. Personally, I number one, I don't answer people's calls unless I've got their number saved in my phone, or they text me saying who they are, because I get lots of calls and it's just like kind of bugging if I'm always having to answer a call. So yeah, some people are very particular about this, and I would say ask them permission. Yeah, it should be something that, out of courtesy, you should seek someone. Like if someone's address, you seek their permission. It all depends upon society. I think this society is very particular about identity, and in the past it was quite open. Are the following parts of the beard: the cheek hair, the neck hair, hair under bottom lip and chin, hair? So these are not beard. Yeah, so cheek hair is not beard, neck around here is not beard, under the chin here, this is not beard. These are not part of the beard, so they can be cut. Can you read a witr salat that consists of only one rakat? Not according to Hanafis. What is the correct sujood position for a woman? So yes, the reason I ask is that Uni and Haramain, other women start shouting and claiming your salat is invalid as we do sujood with everything down. They also state that this is forbidden. Yeah, so you're going to get these people who believe that they're on the truth and everyone else is false. You get these unfortunate people. According to the Hanafi school, the women's limbs should be as close as possible to the ground. Yeah, and the prohibition of being like in the posture of a dog does not apply to women. Doesn't apply to them. Yeah, so that's the position. They can do sajda like a man, it's fine, it's done, but it's not the best thing to do. The best thing to do is have the limbs close as possible, because this comes in a hadith of Abu Dawud. Yeah, and if people say to you, if people say to you, why this is wrong, well, they're going to say other things, right? And I'd ignore them. Just say to them, look, I follow a different method, please leave me alone. Yeah, mashallah, jazakallah khair, make dua for me. That's what I say. Yeah, say mashallah, say jazakallah, and say make dua for me. Or you can say, yeah, you can say this one, say I'm a new Muslim. If you say to people I'm a new Muslim, they leave you alone. Yeah, they think mashallah, at least they're doing this. In one of those ones. Is permanent hair removal allowed for both men and women? If it's in a part of the area of the body, yes. Like that, for example, not for men, not the beard area. Other parts of the body, yeah, permanent. And as long as it doesn't require revealing naked parts of the body to people that can't look at it. Is your appointed qareen with you from the moment you are born until your death? That's what the hadith seems to indicate. Yeah, that's what the hadith seems to indicate. Okay. Do the books of Tariq consider Egypt as part of Africa or part of Arab lands? I'm not sure. I think that, it's a Roman thing, isn't it? I think Roman times they didn't count Egypt as being part of Africa. They counted from after Egypt, the west side, to be part of Africa. I don't know about how the early Muslims did. I think it's the same. They didn't count it as Africa. Is the Na'alain, aka Na'alain Sharifain, for some a sacred symbol? Kind of, yes. It's out of love. So they see this sandal, which looks like the sandal of the Prophet ﷺ. So out of love for the Prophet ﷺ, they kind of respect it. But it's not something which you have to, respect. You can say that for the hair of the Prophet ﷺ. You can say that for Medina. You can say that for the bricks they used. You can say that for the color of clothing that he had. It's just, I think, in history, historically, because the Prophet ﷺ's slippers were preserved by some early people, and this was something that they used to mention, and scholars have written books on this. This is why they kind of like remember this more than the other artifacts of the Prophet ﷺ. So otherwise, if a person had a bag and it had the Na'alain Sharifain on there, or they had a symbol and the person put on the floor or something, or threw in the bin, it's not disrespectful if the person doesn't feel it's disrespectful, because in itself it doesn't have any status in itself. Yes, the Prophet ﷺ slippers themselves may have, but not just the symbol, not the sign. Okay, Salam. Is it permissible to be part of a workplace pension? This particular fund the pension goes into calls itself Islamic and Sharia compliant. The small amount of money that the fund generates that is not considered halal is given to charity before it reaches me. Is this permissible? Ideally, I want to retire early to spend more time studying the deen. My second option would be to avoid pension. Yes, it's fine. This kind of pension will be allowed. Have you ate at Oodles Chinese? If yes, which box do you go for? I haven't yet. Is it good? I've seen one in Star City. I might go there. Will you be watching any good Christmas movies? I used to watch loads before. Indiana Jones. What else was it? Home Alone. All these. But nah, I don't really get time to watch these things. What do you watch? Which type of vanilla flavoring can we eat? Vanilla essence or vanilla extract? So basically, vanilla, for those who don't know, it's a kind of pod, right? It's a pod, like a pea pod. And they extract the vanilla from there. It's extracted. So what they do is they put it in an alcohol substance. Yeah, an alcohol substance they put in. And then basically what happens is it extracts the vanilla from the pod, and then they remove the alcohol, and then they just have the vanilla, or sometimes they keep the alcohol. If the alcohol is left in there, you call it vanilla extract. and the other is called vanilla essence. So vanilla essence doesn't really have any alcohol in it, but in the process of making vanilla essence, so everything that has vanilla in there, or nearly everything that has vanilla in there, the vanilla is considered to be from a procedure that uses alcohol in the process. The end result does not necessarily have alcohol. Vanilla extract can have up to 35% alcohol in there, right? It says it on the bottle. Okay, so vanilla extract you can't use because it actually makes you drunk. You can Google this. And vanilla essence, you're allowed to use it according to Hanafis, because the alcohol, that's the procedure of alcohol, is not alcohol which is from grapes and dates. I've mentioned this before, and Abu Hanifa rahimahullah used to consider that if the alcohol does not make you drunk, so it's not a kind of a form of alcohol, it's not like whiskey or wine or stuff like that. Whiskey and vodka and all these kind of things, those make you drunk. You can't have those. But the alcohol which is synthetic alcohol, synthesized for chemical purposes, then food that is produced using that is allowed. So this is why, according to Hanafis, vanilla essence would be allowed. Vanilla extract, you can't use it. But essence, you find in ice creams, you find in other things, those are allowed. Can we eat sushi? It's usually flavored with mirin, which is rice wine, so it has alcohol. So if it contains rice wine, it's haram. You can't, because rice wine is impermissible. It makes you drunk. Can we eat soya sauce? It's made from soya beans, wheat, salt, and water during the fermentation process, and wheat starches are broken down to sugars, and part of the sugars is changed into alcohol. The alcohol adds to the aroma and overall flavor of the soya. Okay, so the alcohol contains there 1.5% to 2%. So according to Abu Hanifa, let me explain this alcohol issue so you guys understand it clearly. According to Abu Hanifa rahimahullah, he says that alcohol which the Quran talks about, he says, is one that's made from grapes and dates. Right? This is called khamr. This is impermissible, haram. Even a drop of it is haram. Even if it doesn't make you drunk, it's haram. Khalas. Any other intoxicating drink is only haram if large quantities of it make you drunk. So if a large quantity of it makes you drunk, then even one drop will be haram. Yeah? Okay, so this is the kind of rule that Abu Hanifa has. And everyone else, Abu Hanifa students and the Shafis and Malikis and Hanbalis, they all say Abu Hanifa rahimahullah, anything that intoxicates is alcohol. So they have a rule, like an umbrella rule, and they call everything alcohol which intoxicates you. Abu Hanifa doesn't do that. He divides it and says what the Quran talks about is the grape and date one, and the rest of it, the Prophet ﷺ, he says anything that intoxicates you is haram. So if something naturally has fermenting alcohol inside of it, like if you make a fruit juice and you leave the kind of jug outside for a day or two, and you have this kind of little alcohol fermentation taking place inside this jug, right? This technically won't be haram according to Hanafis, because it's not something which is intended for alcohol fermentation, as in you are not making alcohol per se, it's just a byproduct. So as long as it's a small percentage, like 1 or 2% would be fine in that case, so it would be okay. Yeah, so this is not like vodka, it's not like whiskey. These are deliberately made for alcohol. These are haram. Okay, if you are distant from your family members and have never got along with them and don't have much of a relationship with them, can you give their portion of inheritance to another person, e.g. your children, to charity you genuinely care about? Why should our hard-earned money go towards family that have never really behaved like family? Although also they are greedy for money, so that would put me off giving them my inheritance, mashallah. So, look, one thing we have to clarify in our minds here. All the wealth that we have, technically, as soon as we die, does not belong to us. Yeah, that's what you have to understand. Everything you have in your possession now, when you die, it does not belong to you. It belongs to your heirs automatically. You haven't chosen that. Allah has chosen that. So, everything that you leave behind has to be distributed amongst you. You haven't decided that. Whether they've been good to you or bad to you does not dictate anything. What does is what Allah says, and Allah has given the portions for each individual of your family. Right, so that's the first thing. If you don't like a member of your family, you cannot give them. If you don't want to give them, what you need to do is, before you die, you need to spend all your money, or you need to gift as much of it as you can to other people. Yeah, that's it. Simple as that. That's how you go around it. But you can't excommunicate someone in your inheritance, or you can't like exclude them from it. That's something that Allah has decided. Yeah, so like you can't if you got children, you can't say they're not your children anymore. Allah has decided they're your children, they were born from you, so you can't do that. Yeah, so even if you don't like them, and it's not your money to give to them or not to give to them. So in your life it is, but once you die, it's not yours. So you can't dictate what happens to your wealth after you die. Yeah, you can give in charity up to 1/3 of your wealth to someone else. That's allowed. Okay, almost finished. That's what I told you guys. I said there's loads of questions. Okay, if a man is allowed to pleasure himself with a woman's upper part of her body when she's on a period, how is a woman supposed to get pleasure during this time? Seems a bit unfair. Okay, so according to the Hanafis, the rule is this. Imam Abu Hanif and Abu Yusuf say that when a woman is in menstruation, as long as she covers from between her navel to her knees, then both husband and wife can take full sexual pleasure with each other, as long as he doesn't penetrate into her vagina. So all other forms of pleasure are totally allowed, and they can rub their genitals amongst each other, and they can have orgasms as many times as they like. Totally fine in the state of menstruation. And Imam Muhammad says as long as she's wearing underwear like knickers, as long as she's wearing underwear, and he can take pleasure in all parts of her body, again even the thighs this time, but again as long as he doesn't penetrate into the vagina, and both can have orgasms again, and that's it. And I don't see what's unfair about that. Okay, I heard you say oral sex intercourse has scope for permissibility. Could you explain the evidence for this? I have heard scholars in the past say that is makruh tahrimi, severely disliked. Is this because there is no clear statement in the Quran and Sunnah ijma objecting it? Also, is it disliked because we recite the Quran with the mouth, so is disrespectful, so the mouth near the genitals? Please explain. I have not found a clear explanation for this. Okay, so basically, this is a good question. This is a very common question people ask, that oral oral sexual intercourse, why is it allowed, is not allowed? So look, according to the Shafis are very lenient on this issue. You can find answers to this if you like Google it, if you look on Seeker's Path or places like those where they answer Shafi questions. There's lots of scope for Shafi issue. So the Shafis have more permissibility in this particular masala than the Hanafis. The Hanafis, there's nothing really the Hanafis mention about, like the early Hanafis. When I say early Hanafis, Abu Hanifa and his students, they haven't discussed this masala. Imam Abu Yusuf has mentioned that it's permissible if it is the only way that it arouses the husband. It's permissible for him to fondle with his wife's genitals, or she can fondle with his. And in some versions of the text it says mas with a sad, which actually refers to something to do with the tongue. But some say, well, that text isn't really categorical. Later Hanafis have said it's disliked to put it in the mouth because of the possibility of fluid transferring. So Hanafis believe everything that comes out of the genitals, the man's penis basically, is considered impure, and if that's going to go in the wife's mouth, or there's a high chance of it, then this is considered to be highly, extremely impermissible. Yeah, she should not do this. But if you can guarantee that it won't, for example, if you was to use a condom or something like that, and she can guarantee, then there is like this. That's why I said there is scope for it, right? So it's, although it might not be the best thing to do, it would be allowed. And so that's basically the kind of thing. And that the issue with kind of like these sexual issues is that sexual issues cannot really be something which follows a uniformed rule, as in not everyone's sexual desires and the way they fulfill their sexual desires, as long as they do not do the categorically impermissible things like rectal intercourse, which is totally impermissible, or consuming the impure fluids, then other things there's scope for it. Because if the husband and wife are not going to sexually satisfy one another, then what can happen? It can affect the marriage, and it can affect so many other things in their life, right? So some of these kind of things, there should be some lenience in there. You look at the society as well. So I don't want to go too much into this. I don't know how many kids are watching this. Why again, the parents are getting traumatized. Okay, so yeah, so some of the Hanafis have said, oh, you shouldn't put the genitals in the mouth because the mouth is the place for recitation. But then the mouth is a place for doner kebab as well. The mouth is a place for, other things as well. So it doesn't mean that because some other Hanafis disagree with this, some early Hanafis disagree with this argument that the mouth is for Quran. Okay, do you have to be a traveler, state of traveling, to omit fasting? Can you omit? Yes, you have to be a traveler to take the dispensation. In the Quran says, if you are on a journey or you're ill, then you can make up the fast another day. To be a traveler, to take the traveler dispensation, you have to be a traveler before Fajr. So the Hanafis say after Fajr you can't do it. You can't take this dispensation. And if you do, you may be sinful, but you don't have to do kafara. Is playing cards without gambling allowed, like poker, for example? What about using dice during Ludo? You mean Ludo? Okay, so is playing cards without gambling? Yes, it's allowed, as long as you don't occupy too much of your time missing salats. Yeah, you can play that. It's fine. And playing dice as well, there's scope for it as well, permissibility. The early texts, when they talk about this kind of gambling, and so when they talk about playing games, they talk about it in the context of a society who playing games was considered the most futile thing, had no purpose. Nowadays, you look at this guy called Ninja, yeah, who is a very well-known gamer, and the guy is probably earning earns probably $500,000 a month playing games. Imagine that. Yeah, so crazy, man. Okay, how do you try to get character reference for a prospective spouse? Do you get a family member, third party, to ask someone who knows the prospective spouses without revealing the reason? I don't know. There's nothing Islamic about it. It's just use your common sense, ask around, ask people, text people, send them emails. Yeah, I think people know best. Yeah, I think that's... How do you respond when a person asks for character reference for someone? Be clear. If someone asks you about a particular individual, tell them anything you believe that's going to affect the marriage. Okay, I think that's all the questions are done. Okay, there's some more questions here. Okay, we're going to have a little rest here. I'm going to have 5 minutes. I'm going to make myself some tea. So I'm going to got some more questions, inshallah. So those of you guys who are going to stay inshallah. And in about 5 minutes or 10 minutes or so, by about 10:30, we'll be back inshallah. Okay, guys. All right, so let's continue then. So we got questions. Actually, no, there's loads of questions on this one. What I might have to do? I might have to just stop the Curious Cat one and continue with your questions, because you guys have a lot of questions as well, haven't you? So I'll try to do this one. Okay, do you still need to read Fajr Sunnah if you missed it due to the time? There's a difference of opinion. Imam Muhammad says yes, and according to Abu Hanifa and Abu Yusuf say that you don't have to. So some say out of cautiousness you should pray. If you got a chance, you should try to pray. Salam, Ustad. One of my family members told me that a person that is not close related to me, my family, has passed away, and asked, what do you have to say when a person passes? She adds, Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un, and I replied, and that is not necessary. Also in Surah Baqarah, who say when afflicted with calamity. we belong to Allah. First of all, my intention is just to clarify and guide her. And so I said, believing in necessity, so to say inna lillahi without calamity is a bid'ah. Correct me if I'm wrong. I've also never heard of any hadith sunnah of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, so I mean, inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. This is something the Quran tells us. لَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ مِّنَ الْخَوْفِ وَالْجُوعِ وَنَقْصٍ مِّنَ الأموال والأنفس والثمرات وبشر الصابرين إذا أصابتهم مصيبة قالوا إنا لله وإنا راجعون. Whenever they are afflicted with a calamity, they say إنا لله. So any calamity at all, any calamity, even death, is a calamity. So saying إنا لله according to the Quran, yeah, it's fine to say after death. Yeah. So in other words, it basically falls under what the Quran is saying. And I mean, the Arabs, they would use it in the Quran, in the Sunnah, that Sahaba would use it at any sort of calamity, death or no death. Do jinns move around like humans speed-wise, or can they move around continents speedily without transport? I have no idea. I've never been able to, work this one out. So maybe, yeah. See, jinns, maybe they've got some other sort of like realm they travel through. Maybe they've got wormholes. Maybe, I don't know. So jinns could have their own realm of transport, beasts they have that they use. Because when we hear about jinns, it's not just jinns that exist. There's also things that are associated to jinns. And there could be lots of other forms of creation out there that we don't know about. Remember, just because the Quran doesn't mention a creation, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So Quran's not talking about, let's say, dinosaurs. It doesn't mean just dinosaurs didn't exist. Is a toilet only a toilet when you are relieving yourself? If you have forgotten to read the dua, can you read it inside if you haven't started yet? This is one of those tricky ones when it kind of talks about that, that you shouldn't read it in the toilet, because in them days the toilet would be a place where naturally feces would exist. Yeah, because nowadays we have sewage and it kind of gets disappeared. Yeah, so okay. So I mean, I would say if the toilet is a clean place and there's no filth inside of it and it's washed away, the sewage has gone, then you'd be able to say the dua in there. But it's best to say it outside anyway, just to be on the safe side. Should a menstruating woman stay away from someone on their deathbed? No, she doesn't have to stay away from them. I don't know where people get this idea from, that menstruating women are like filthy people. Can a man wear a gold-coloured watch? Yes, he can. You can wear a gold-coloured watch. Okay. Should a missed fast be done before the next Ramadan? Try to do it before next Ramadan, but you don't have to. In the Haramain, there are people who are completely asleep but wake up and read Salah. Is their wudu still valid? According to some madhabs, yes. According to some madhabs, you'd be allowed. Why has Allah got angels for certain tasks, such as being in charge of rain carry? I mean, just how the Allah system works. So when we think of angels, for example, like, remember, Allah has created things, and these things that Allah has created, just because it doesn't make sense to us, it doesn't mean it's not true. Like if we didn't know atoms existed and someone said, oh, atoms exist, and we hadn't proven it, it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. So this world and everything, we could only, at the moment, we probably only know a drop of science of the real world. So why does Allah create this? Allah knows best why Allah creates them. Why does Allah make the clouds rise up, and why doesn't Allah just send rain from the sky directly? Allah does things with patterns. Allah does things with laws. Allah has set laws, and this is how He implements them. Allah doesn't need any of these, He says in the Quran. If He wants, He just says kun fayakun. But Allah utilizes all this system. This is the beautiful system that Allah has created. It's got causes and effects. So if there's physical causes and effects, there's going to be spiritual causes and effects. There's going to be causes and effects in the realm of the angels as well. Okay. Tablighi Jamaat state Deen is incomplete without 6 points, but my argument was the Deen is complete with the 5 pillars of Islam. Who is right? I think whoever's asking this question, you and Tablighi Jamaat need to have a big debate and debate it out. I don't think your answer is quite right. I don't think the answer is quite right. I think it's great. The Quran is the complete religion. I think the Quran is the complete, not just the 5 pillars. 5 pillars is not just Islam. So Shahada, Salat, Zakat, fasting and Hajj, these are not just the pillars of Islam. Islam is greater than this. Yeah, there's more to Islam than just these. There's, there's dealings with other people, there's marriage, there's inheritance. Where are all these? All of these things are complete Islam. Is it permissible to buy items which are wrongly priced by a supermarket, i.e. glitch commonly found? Yeah, as long as they've done it and you've bought it, it's fine. What is the state of wajh? I think I answered this before. Tabligis use the fadail of jihad and apply it to tabligh. Is this wrong? It depends. Yeah, so for example, like if it's like a particular sort of thing about going out in the morning and going out in the evening is better, that's fine. You can use it ideally in the battlefield, and you can use it in other places as well. Yeah, so fi sabilillah as well. Imam Bukhari considers going for Jummah fi sabilillah. So it depends what kind of hadith it is. Yeah, possibly. These kind of things, I think some people have this sort of like grudge against Tabligis, and then they kind of like want to find all the mistakes that Tabligis make. And they may not have studied the religion properly, but they're kind of like picking out things. But if they go to a proper scholar who knows this stuff, the scholar will find faults in their arguments or criticisms. So I mean, I personally think that these kind of arguments are silly arguments that people are making. There's bigger issues that we have. Okay, so you got to be more specific exactly, like what kind of fadail. Is buying extended warranties for appliances permissible? No, it's not permissible. When buying things from someone, do you need to know if he used halal money to buy it? No, you don't have to. Where do sideburns start for the beard? I mean, it's roughly just wherever you feel. Sometimes they say where their bone is, but roughly anywhere sort of like you feel that it starts there. There's nothing specific. What are the must ask questions to ask a prospective spouse? Up to you, whatever you like. I mean, look, you ask your spouse what you want to find in them. If you're a man and you want in a woman, you want to know if she's beautiful, you want to know what things she likes, you want to know what she's into. And if you're a woman, then obviously you ask the things that you like. Can a woman stipulate before marriage that the husband can't marry again? She can't stipulate. I mean, if she does, it won't be effective. She can't stipulate. I mean, the only thing that she can do is she can make him sign a document, for example, to say that if you do marry again without my permission, then our marriage is over, divorced. That would be counted as an official divorce. Okay, Aston Villa or Birmingham City? Neither. I think my first team I used to support was Aston Villa, the first ever team. That was like in the early 90s. Then I kind of went to Manchester United. Then I just went to Pakistan to study and I just forgot about it. Who are the eligible people of zakat? Hearts may be inclined. So this is a category which is basically known as the Mu'allafat al-Qulub. And there's about 7 different tafsirs about what Mu'allafat al-Qulub means. Does it refer to non-Muslims? Does it refer to Muslims? Does it refer to new Muslims? Does it refer to those Muslims who are living around the collection zakat points? Does it refer to Muslims that are living on the borders of non-Muslims? So generally, I mean, it refers to, according to Hanafis, it refers to those people who in the beginning of Islam used to be non-Muslims, and it was to bring them closer towards Islam. Like financially, if you support anyone, they will be, they'll be more sympathetic for your causes. Yeah. So, and then they say that this was abrogated, or some say the ruling was paused, and some say in today's times it's come back again, and some say it hasn't. The sins and ways in sinning fitna have developed over the centuries. So will Allah take this into account during Hisab? Yes, of course, definitely. Yeah, I mean, like in the past there wasn't pornography. In the past there wasn't all this nakedness. In the past there wasn't all these movies. So people, you can say, were like 80% of what we're exposed to today. People never even imagine that kind of stuff. So this is why all these things will be taken into account. If a person is brought up in a family which is dysfunctional, they won't be treated the same as a person who's brought up in a family of scholars, pious people. Yeah, they're going to be treated differently. Yeah, because Allah knows what they're going through. A person's been brought up in hardships, not going to be treated as a person who's been brought up in ease, rich, poor, etc. Okay, misyar so far as specified time only, e.g. whilst on a fixed term job abroad was okay. Misyar. Yeah, this is not allowed. This type of marriage is not allowed. This is called nikah muaqqat. This is not allowed. Yeah, impermissible. Should you do? But there's another type of misyar, which is basically a man marries a woman, and she gives up all her rights. So some people do this, for example, like unfortunately there are many like husbands out there and their wives don't know they've got like other wives on the side, and I've done nikahs for them, so that's what I know. So this is unfortunate. I think this is a form of deception. Husbands should not be doing this. You're deceiving your wife. But let's say, for example, some guy has done this and he's spoken to a woman. He said to her, "Look, I'm not going to give you a house, and you live with your family as though you're single. I live with my family, and whenever we want to meet and go out, we'll go out and we do things, and you give all your rights." So this is this type of misyar. It will be allowed, like legally, it's allowed, but morally, is it something which is correct or not? That's, I would say, is morally incorrect. Should you do salam with the imam at the same time or after him? After him. Can animal bird down feathers be used for coats? Yes, they can be. Alhamdulillah. Finished. Allahu Akbar. Okay, so we've done that. Okay, so your questions, guys. Let's check out your questions. You guys have loads of questions. A lot of you guys ask the same questions. If it's the same questions, we'll just do an Ameen answer. Okay. Okay, Gamer. Salam rahmatullah, everyone. Salam Mufti. What is going to be your schedule for live streams? At the moment, it just looks like just Saturday evenings at the moment, but don't know yet. Yeah, this is a good time. Excellent. Is it possible to produce? Oh, you mean for the reflections, Quran reflections? I'm thinking in the week at night time. In the week might be like, I don't know which days yet. Maybe like Monday, maybe Tuesday, maybe Thursday, maybe Friday. Okay. Is it possible to produce videos for kids on Ash'ari belief? Ash'ari belief. Possibly. I mean, I think what's more important is teaching the kids about belief in the Quran. That's the most important thing, I think. And then Ash'ari beliefs and these kind of things, that's something that you can work on later. Okay, well, salam. How did students do exams? Okay and not okay. What about the Sahaba series? I was liking that. Yeah, I know. I'm going to start, inshallah, in these holidays. I'm going to start working on that again. Outside Salah, can we do zikr with the heart without pronouncing it on the tongue? Yes, you can. Salam Ustad Umar, wa alaikum assalam. I do, it's my favorite pastime. What are the signs of beneficial knowledge? How can allow the impact with knowledge that you seek? What are the signs of beneficial knowledge? Beneficial knowledge is that knowledge which helps you get closer to Allah. Is it possible to produce videos for kids? Oh, I didn't know before. Okay, Bodna in Bengali. Bodna is Bengali. Do you have an akika videos here? Akika. You mean like for the what's it? After you have a child, that one. Okay, my username is Arnaut Hanafi. In Albania we write like that because one time I heard you having difficulties reading the nickname. Oh, Arnaut. Arnaut is a very famous name. Yeah, Shu'aib and Arnaut. MashaAllah. Assalamu alaikum. Is there any dhikr that can be read without moving the lips? I don't know. Allah knows. You guys need to upgrade and get the spray joke. Okay, how to clean the madhi, urethral fluid that has flowed into the thobe. If it's still wet, just wash it. You can, if it's dry, scrape it off, wash it off. Qari Tanveer, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Some ulama say Jummah is not farz in the country because it's Dar al-Harb and Dar al-Kufr. What is your opinion? Yeah, I know many scholars that take this position. But what I would say is, look, Jummah is the thing which kind of brings all those people who don't come for namaz. It's the one thing that connects them with Islam in the week. And if we take this away, this can have a very big impact. That's why I would say the fatwa of those scholars who say that in Dar al-Harb, Jummah is fard, I say that is what we should take. Because if you think about it, a lot of people that don't come for Jummah, they don't come for other salats. One Jummah they'll come for, and that can have an impact on the entire week in a positive way. Is there a baby crying in the background? Yes, there was, my nephew. Is it possible to produce videos for kids? And I mean, why you asked this 3 times now? Okay, Salam, are you good at interpreting meaning of dreams? I don't like to, but if I do, I need to know a lot about the person who's asking them. So sometimes I'll ask you loads of questions. Is this durood fine to read? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Yes, it's fine. Your opinion on istighatha wasn't clear when you answered the question of Ya Ali. Okay, Arabic Hafiz. Okay, you're gonna have to watch it again. I've mentioned about istighatha before. Okay, what is the correct masala regarding a person who sleeps leaning against a support with the buttocks pressed against? There's 2 opinions in the Hanafi madhab. One is that it doesn't break the wudu, one is that it does. And the majority of later Hanafis have said it does. Okay, can we meet your nephew one day? You don't want to meet him, trust me. He's worse than the cat. He's worse than Catty. Yeah, he jumps around and does things and takes pens and writes on my computer on the walls. And bring nephew here to say hi. No. Okay, ultimate challenger. Is there such a thing as prohibitive wealth, as in you work but you take your time or you slack? Will that money? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Your opinion on istighatha wasn't clear. Okay, yes, again. Other people Saturday watching movies. Followers of Mufti. MashaAllah. Allahu Akbar. Bring him. No. It was way before your time. He was the first Prime Minister. Liaquat Ali Khan. Yeah, I know. Liaquat Ali Khan. There's like a song they sing in Pakistan, isn't it? It's got like Liaquat Ali Khan. Something like that. Wa alaikum assalam. Fun. How are your kids and the kitten? I don't have kids, but I do have a kitten. Kitten's very nice. Are you a Galaxy or Dairy Milk person? Dairy Milk, without doubt, without shock. And what are you? Imtiaz Chaudhry. Assalamualaikum warahmatullah. Are there any du'as for when one moves to a new house? Bismillah. Just say Bismillah when you enter, bro. And there's no specific du'as. What is Galaxy? Yeah. MP, tell Valerie what Galaxy is. Is niqab obligatory in Hanafi madhab? There's ikhtilaf. Mufti, can you explain predestination and free will? Do you actually choose who you marry, or are you paired with? Okay, so no, you don't. They're not paired for you technically. You do choose who you marry. So free will basically works like this, and I mentioned this before. It's basically there are things that are predestined from Allah that we can't change, and there are things that we can do. So what can we change? What can't we? So basically, imagine you're watching a movie and you make a note of every single thing, and then you call your friend in the room, and then you tell your friend exactly what's going to happen at every point, and they think the movie is running according to what you're saying. So that's predestination. In other words, it's not moving as you're saying. So this is how predestination works. So we have hands, we have legs, we have head, but we can't fly. So we are predestined not to fly on our own, right? But we do have hands and feet, so that means we can chop wood, and we can build a chair, and we can build a house, and we can build a society. So in other words, the predestiny basically means you are limited in how much you can do. Does that make sense? So you are limited in how much you can do, and all the possible scenarios of what you could have done, Allah has predestined them. Like you can't do more than what Allah has predestined for you. Like a kind of like one of those computer games, or like it's kind of like films where they have like a person, he does one scene and then he does that scene again and does that scene again. There's all the possible outcomes of all that scene. So yeah, so when you get married, it's actually your choices make your predestiny. Okay, your opinion on istighatha wasn't clear. You answered the question of Ya Ali. Okay. Can you request only 1 or 2 people do your janazah ghusl in your will? In Asian culture, lots of random aunties. Yeah, you can request. I mean, it's not necessary for them to fulfill that request, but yes, you can. Okay. Why now? I don't understand one thing, that mutlaq anil waqt, the amr is wajib with tarahi, but we don't know when we might die, so will we be rewarded for our niyyah, do the act if we die before? Yeah, that's where the Hanafi says, and they say that you'll be sinful if you and that's why Imam Karhi, he actually says that you have to do it as soon as possible. So if you die before doing it, then you will be counted as sinful. That's why you should do it as soon as possible. Is it permissible to clap? Yes, it's permissible to clap. Okay, why now? Don't you feel our scholars should wear Western clothing in madrasas and while giving talks, just to dispel the notion that thobe that they wear is sunnah or makes one more pious? Yeah, I mean, I would agree. Should, but the problem is is that community, unfortunately, this community that's been developed, created, they're very, very, pressurizing, you can say. So, sometimes a whole community can just reject an imam because he's not wearing a hat on his head, or he's not wearing the right thobe or something like that. So sometimes, that's got to be taken into consideration. Sometimes it's like a doctor. Sometimes people only listen to a doctor if he's wearing the white coat. And if a guy's not wearing a white coat, they don't listen to him. So there's like many factors. Okay. Do you know Hamza Zotis personally? No, I don't. Arnaut Abdullah, he is reading questions arising curious cat. Then he moved him. Okay. MP, can you shower whilst in ihram, as when you get to Makkah you feel you need to freshen up? Yes, you can. Do you find it easy to forgive people? Usually, yeah. Usually I do. I mean, not all the time, but alhamdulillah, I kind of just get on with it. Is it permissible for people who are not mahrams to use the same face cloth, the same face towel? Yes, it's totally permissible. Some of the scholars do mention things like, can you drink the same water as a non-mahram? They say it's allowed, but if you feel sexually aroused, if you're going to drink it, like this beautiful woman has drunk the water and it's going to arouse you sexually, then it's makruh to drink it, because not because of the water, but because of that thing resulting in lust. Okay, what if the time of the prayer, but in the same time the imam is experiencing the flowing of madhi, and then the imam should go and do his wudu? Okay, is it permissible to feed non-Muslims with food which is haram? According to Hanafis, yes, it would be impermissible. Yeah, but other madhabs, they have leniency in that. Hanafis basically say anything is haram to take is haram to give, even if it's to a non-Muslim. What are your thoughts on the Bermuda Triangle? I don't know, I mean, there's several Bermuda Triangles on there around the world. So I'm not too sure about that. Okay, Hamza Zotis, Divine Reality is the name of the book. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, you got it, Divine Reality. Okay, is it permissible to drink coffee in a place where alcohol is? Okay, by the way, guys, look what I've got. Check this out. Yeah, clay cup. Yeah, so I've been drinking in a clay cup. I don't know if it kind of has an effect, but psychologically has an effect on me. Not like in a hallucinogenic way. Okay, is it permissible to drink coffee in a place where alcohol is served and sold? I mean, I don't really see an issue in buying from a place where there's alcohol. The issue in the hadith is where alcohol is served on your table. Like, if you're okay with other people on your table at your home, that's what the hadith talking about. Like, in your house, you're okay with people drinking alcohol. Yeah, that was the issue, or in some sort of like gathering of that sort. Otherwise, I mean, you go to Asda where they sell alcohol. What is the actual definition of the word prophet? It means someone who tells about important news. Prophet, that's what it means. Someone who comes to tell about important news. If you have hurt someone but are unable to ask forgiveness from the person because they have moved out to another country, and then what do? Make dua for them and give sadaqah on their behalf. What do you make of the hadith in Abu Dawud which says the one cupping and the one undergoing cupping both break their fast? We say that this was referring to the Prophet ﷺ telling off that person, because when they used to cupping in them, they used to suck the blood out with their mouth. So if you're fasting and you're sucking blood, there's going to be elements of blood going into your mouth, and then it could go down your throat. And the person getting it done, it could weaken them. So the Prophet ﷺ told both of them that don't do it because your fast may break. The Hanafis say that the fast doesn't break, but it puts a person into a position where it can break. Is it probably to sleep between Asr and Maghrib? No. Why having barbecue and watching live stream tastes 100 times better? Allah. Are you having barbecue? How do you stop judging people in regards to their clothes that a person wears and their character? It's hard. I mean, you just got to make effort, make dua for them, give them gifts. When Allah says, and the ones who from idle talk are veering away, وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنِ اللَّغْوِ مُعْرِضُونَ, does this refer to normal chit-chat, small talk? No, not necessarily. So this laghu would refer to those things which are sinful talk. Yeah. That's so me, someone who overthinks naturally. That's a rhyme, that is. Whoa, you just rhymed. Lol, that's so me, someone who overthinks naturally. Sounds like one of those, early 90s raps. Okay. هل يجوز للرجل أن يمس زوجته تحت سرتها بشهوة وهي حائض؟ لا يجوز عند إمام أبي حنيفة وأبي يوسف، ويجوز عند محمد. إلا أن يتقي موضع الفرج. If the Masjid al-Haram or Masjid al-Nabawi has no more space inside due to the number of worshippers, would one get the same reward as performing salah in the mosque if one had no choice but to pray in the salah in the courtyard? Yes, they should. I mean, in fact, I think they even count the courtyard as being part of the masjid now. When making wudu, I feel that a lot of water is being wasted when I wash my nose and rinse my mouth. Is it okay to leave it out? I mean, do you have OCD problems? If you do, then I would say possibly, yeah. You can leave it out. Shouldn't naming people with Nabi's names, e.g. Muhammad, be a bad thing because they are messenger of Allah? And no. There was many Sahaba who actually named their children after names of prophets. What does it take for one to become an Arabic adib and poet, or to attain mastery of Arabic poetry and adib? I would say go through over 1,000 or 2,000 poems, and then you should reach there. You have to just go through loads of poetry, loads and loads. It's just taste, isn't it? It's like, to become an expert in food, you got to taste loads of food. Is it true that Dajjal will come from Iran or any Arab country? The narration mentions that he's going to first appear in Asfahan, which is a place in Iran. He's going to appear there. So whether he comes from there or not, a separate thing, but he's going to appear there, like first become prominent there. Some says we have to close our windows and doors during Maghrib. Why is that? This was in the time of the Prophet ﷺ. The Prophet ﷺ told them, and this was probably because something at their time. So it's not everywhere, but it's at their time because of something maybe at that time. Is it sunnah to cover the head with a topi while praying salat? According to early Hanafis, yes, it is. The hadith about cupping is abrogated. Okay. Were you born in the UK? Yes. Can we follow Farhat Hashmi like Tafsir al-Quran? I mean, I don't see why you can't. As long as she explains Quran, I haven't heard much from what she's saying about other things. But I mean, I remember I used to be in Pakistan and I used to hear her tafsir in the mornings on the bus or something, or it seemed okay to me. I'm not too sure. That if you find anything you're not unsure about, ask your local scholar. Is delaying salah sinful without a reason? Yes. I feel that Sheikh Riyad al-Haq and Mufti Abdul Rahman Mangira have good talks that may be beneficial. Yeah, so check them out as well. Have you read Gone with the Wind? I've heard about it, no, but I haven't read it. I am praying 4 rakats of Sunnah Zohar and I forget to read Surah in one of the rakats in my salah. Okay, do it. Yes, you need to repeat your salat or do Sajda Sahwa at the end. What's the traditional food in your village? Not Birmingham. Traditional food in my village? I don't know what the names of the food are. Yeah, but there is this like some basic, it's a general sort of Patan kind of food. Yeah, general Patan. It's not very, very elegant. I think other Pakistani communities have much more elegant food. Spicy. Ours is quite bland. Have you read Tafsir as-Sa'idi? Yeah, I've read a bit of it. If so, what is your opinion concerning this Tafsir? Sa'idi, yeah? That is Tafsir as-Sa'idi. I can't remember, I'd have to check, because I think I read some of it a long time ago. Tafsir as-Sa'di. Are you talking about Sa'di? Sa'idi. Is mimicking Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's physical looks, eyeliner, long hair, etc. a deed? Not necessarily, unless you're doing it out of love, then it would be rewarding. Alhamdulillah for soya sauce being halal. I love Chinese food. Enjoy your tea. Thank you very much. Hey, what's up? Cold Virax. How do you study in an environment where classmates are not serious and joke around all the time, or have not acknowledged the value of this knowledge? Yeah, it's difficult. I mean, I remember in my madrasa there was that problem as well. You just gotta, I would say, stay in contact with a good teacher and try to spend less time with your friends. In the Quran, it's mentioned about Judi, where Nuh alayhi salam ark is, If you type that in Google, you see it as the true, real thing. Not necessarily. I mean, the Judy that they come on the Google Maps doesn't necessarily mean the one that's in the Quran. It could just be similar in name. Yeah, it could be similar in name. Okay, that's the problem with a lot of these things. I have now checked the ingredients of vanilla extract and I haven't found any mention of alcohol. It says we use sugar syrup base rather than alcohol. Yes, then in that case, if they use you Google it, you'll find out information about how vanilla extract works. Unless it's something else and not vanilla, because vanilla extract has to have alcohol in there. But if it's another form of making it, then yes, it's fine. If it has no alcohol at all, yeah. Right. Okay. Right. Salam Sheikh. Can I rub cream on my leg after ablution? Yes, you can. Of course. Dr. Iotakarra. I don't know who that is. Vanilla extract has no alcohol as stated here. Not sure about other brands though. Dr. Iotakarra vanilla extract. Yeah, so you probably can get other sort of like sort of versions of it. I mean, from what I've read. Salam alaikum Sheikh. Can you do lecture about the 7 ahruf of the Quran? Excellent one. Excellent. Good topic that is. Actually, you know what? Can you put that in the comments? Put that not in this comments, but in the other comments, because that's a very good topic, I think. And if anyone has any good topics, put in the comments. Can men wear gold-colored cloth? Yes, they can. What is the ruling on wearing chains? I mean, the thing is, it's like the issue is basically, you know, if it's resembling women, no, you can't. Otherwise, you know, if it's for some sort of purpose, you can wear it, like holding a key or something, or like a watch. Those kind of chains are allowed. But just for jewelry purposes, the Hanafis consider it to be impermissible, as it's not something that men are recommended to do. Just checked Waitrose vanilla extract has ethanol. Yes, ethanol is alcohol, so not permissible. Yep. Please do a series on Arba'in Nawawi. Yeah, put it in the main comments. Okay, so I guess you got to check the ingredients. That's it. Ingredients, that's the one. I've got taweez that my family have had for years, but they stopped wearing it. It has its ruling on the, and how can I get it checked up and opened? Just open it. Just open it up, check it, take a picture of it, maybe send it to a scholar or something. Can I shave my beard? According to Hanafi school, no, you can't. But there's opinions in the Shafi madhab. There's some scholars in the Shafi madhab who say that it's disliked. It's not sinful, but it's disliked. But according to Hanafis, no. It depends what you must shave, like totally shave it off, as in like blade, clean shave blade, or is it like use a machine? How do I get my family to pray? I'm 19, parents, siblings don't pray. Take time with them, you know, you read your prayers, you be kind to them. Now and again, tell them virtues of praying. You've been Mr. Popular today. Allahu Akbar. Yeah, Mr. Popular. I think the viewers went up to 32 a moment ago. I have a question from Hidayah Studies. Why is anything from Sabilain naqad for wudu just by dhuhur, but other than Sabilain requires khuruj? Because the Hanafis say, no, khuruj is required in Sabilain as well. But the idea of khuruj is that the urethra is not the mahallun najasa. So the bladder is mahallun najasa. So when it comes out, khuruj has already taken place from the bladder to the tip of the urethra. Inshallah, I'm thinking about doing a Hidayah series. Yeah. Do you recommend videos for kids to teach them pure Aqidah Ashari, or recommend for them to also send the soul for kids? And recommend, you know, for kids, I think it's very important to teach them what's in the Quran. Teach them what's in the Quran, and then later on these advanced topics, teach them these kind of things. I love him more than because I just love Kati. Allahu Akbar. My M Galaxy all the way. Valerie, it's a popular chocolate and you can the brand. Okay, could you please show me videos? Would you explain istighatha? May Allah accept all your good deeds. So I mean, look, I'll mention it for Brother Abdullah. I think he's asked about 5 times now. So istighatha, basically, there's the istighatha simply means to seek help. So we should all seek help from Allah. In other words, we ask Allah for everything. Yeah, iyyaka nasta'in. Now, if you ask someone else, can you make dua for me? So you're asking someone to make dua to Allah. That's allowed. Like you can ask me, make dua for me. I can ask you, make dua for me. So I am seeking help from you, but I'm not asking you to do what Allah does. I'm asking you to ask Allah. Can you do this with someone dead? So someone who's dead, right? Can you ask them? So it depends on whether you believe that this dead person can hear you or not. So we believe that if a person is close to a person, it's possible that they can hear. Some of the ulama have mentioned. Others say no, they can't hear. إِنَّكَ لَا تُسْمِعُ مَوْتَى. So some of the scholars believe that because they're in a realm and you ask them, make dua for me, and they ask Allah, their dua is accepted. This is why they believe in this concept of istighatha, that you're not asking them for what Allah gives, but you're asking them to make dua to Allah. That's why when you say things like Ya Fulan, Ya Fulan, Ya Ghawth, Ya Ali, that kind of istighatha. So other scholars say you shouldn't even say these kind of things, because if Allah is there to ask, why are you going to the deceased to ask? And the other people's argument is, well, if Allah is there to ask, why do you ask other people to make dua for you? That's the kind of argument. I don't do istighatha. I don't believe that a person should do istighatha. I avoid it. And this was the position of many of my teachers. Okay, ما يقرأ الرجل الذي لا يحفظ دعاء القنوت بعد تكبير القنوت يقرأ ما يشاء من الأدعية. I don't understand how do dreams work and how can anyone interpret them. I just dream about whatever I've been thinking about in the day. So, boy, because you miss my dream course, when you miss my dream course, this is what happens, boy. You know? That's it. Kati is not going to teach you dreams. Do you only cut your hair on Umrah? No. I mean, I don't know. Some of you guys say leave your hair. It's good you got long hair. Some say cut your hair. Make your mind up, please. Yeah. My hair looks so greasy today. Proper greasy and messy. Okay, why would the Messenger ﷺ go in caves to ponder and think when caves and places when jinns and shayateen are in the most? Of course, we know the Prophet was protected. Not necessarily. That's where, I mean, going to caves, I mean, it's not, I think we overthink things there. We think jinns are everywhere. They're always in caves. Not necessarily. Yeah, it's fine to go to caves. It's probably one of those night stories you've been hearing. بعض الناس يظنون أنه يقرأ سورة الإخلاص ثلاثا أن لا يعلم دعاء القنوت. نعم ممكن. لكن الحنفية يقولون إذا لم يحفظ أحد دعاء القنوت يجوز له أن يقرأ أي دعاء شاء. Will you be watching the Dajjal next Netflix series? I don't know, you know. What do you guys think? Shall I watch it? Shall I not watch it? You tell me. Yeah, I don't really get time to watch these kind of things, to be honest. So I probably won't be watching it. And if I do, I'll probably just be listening to it in the background. Where's your clay cup from? Looks cool, mashallah. Yeah, this is from, I don't know, online somewhere. Someone gave it to me. It's cool, isn't it? Yeah. Why, you want one too? Why do Shia pray 3 times a day, Sunni 5 times a day? I have no idea why Shias pray 3 times a day. I'll find out. I mean, if you find out, let me know as well. They actually pray 5 times a day, but they call the 5 times prayer 3 prayers. They combine Zuhr, they call it Zuhrain, and Maghrib, they call it Maghribain or Isha'in, something like that. So they pray Fajr, Zuhr and Asr together, Maghrib, Isha together. So that 3 times a day they pray. Okay, can a non-mahram man drink from a woman or vice versa? Sexual arousal is not an issue. Yes, they can, totally fine. So it's okay to eat at a restaurant that serves alcohol as long as alcohol isn't served on the table. I don't see any problem with that. Yeah, don't see any problem with that. Could you please explain Allah and being in the sky? Okay, this is a long topic. Inshallah, next time. Aqidah topics, next time, inshallah. Because I'm trying to do the easy topic because I've gone overtime now. I'm in overtime mode now, guys, yeah? So you know what? I'm going to start coming out with some random stuff now. Yeah, so this is what happens at this time. Okay, in ice creams, etc., it usually says vanilla flavoring, so how do you know? So that's why the scholars say it's allowed, because the amount of alcohol in there would be so minute, it's like, you know, obsolete. Right, so it's fine. I've done tafsir course with Dr. Farhat Hashmi and she's really good. Wouldn't recommend studying fiqh with her. Okay, alhamdulillah, yeah. So that's it, guys. You heard it here. Does covering the head with a hoodie still count as sunnah about covering the head with a topi? Because yes, covering the head is covering the head. Actually, the Prophet ﷺ never wore a topi in his from the authentic hadith. He never wore a topi. From what we understand, he used to wear imama or used to have a cloth on his head. But you didn't know that, did you? Okay, if one couldn't finish the 3 witr before Fajr entered, does he need to repeat the witr? Yes. Ustad, you look like you're falling asleep. Yes, correct, MP. MashaAllah. It looks like you don't have to go to Specsavers today. Answer my question, please. I think I did answer it. Can I do qasr as long as I'm staying in the UK? I'm here studying, not for being a resident. If you stay in a place for more than 15 days, if your intention is more than 15 days, you're not allowed to do qasr. Is wearing an amama sunnah or sunnah ada? Sunnah ada. Is wearing a white sunnah ada? Is it makruh to pray without a topi? I would say no, because in our society, wearing a topi is not considered the norm. So it's like, it's makruh to wear in salat something that you wouldn't normally wear in public. Okay. If you don't get on with women, is it okay to stay single your life? Is that not rewarding as being married? Allahu Akbar, mashallah, ullu kapatta. Okay, so now I know why they call you ullu kapatta, yeah, because you come out in the night time, yeah, and you come out with some random stuff all of a sudden. Yeah, it's fine. You don't have to get married. Yeah, as long as you can control your desires and you're not gonna, fall into fornication. Tips on memorization, both including Arabic and English, better so that sticks in your head. For example, best thing to do is what are those things called? Those cards, flashcards. Flashcards, yeah, excellent idea. Whoever invented flashcards, may Allah give them hidayah and put them in Jannah. Best effective way to repent is just turn to Allah and ask Him. How do you give effective and confident talks like your Jummah khutbahs? You just gotta get used to it. It just takes time. Get used to it. Get used to speaking in public. What's the difference between normal counseling and Islamic counsel? I have no idea. I'm not a counselor. Does your center As-Sufa have a website? Yes, it does. It's called asufa.org. Oh yeah, so As-Sufa. Go on Google, type in As-Sufa, and it comes up straight away. Can I marry the granddaughter of my aunt? Can you marry the granddaughter of your aunt? Yes, you can. Yep, you can. Is my birthday tomorrow? It's my birthday tomorrow. Please make dua for me. MashaAllah, Allahu Akbar. December, baby. Allah, you know what that means? Yeah. It means you were born when it was cold. I'm a July baby, so I was born when it was very hot. Yeah, mashallah. Okay, food from KPK is famous all over Pakistan. The chapli kebabs and jarsi tikkas are amazing. It's not bland. Yeah, that's the only thing we really got. It hasn't got that anything else. If you compare it with things like Punjabi food or Sindhi food maybe. Yeah. Is it permissible to keep some soil from a pious person's grave in my house just for barakah? Possibly. I wouldn't recommend it. Possibly. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. مفتي قواعد كتابة الحمزة تختلف عن بلد آخر. هل من أمثلة لي قواعد كتابة الحمزة تختلف من بلد لآخر؟ نعم، ممكن يختلف. نعم، هذا حسب اختلافات القبائل في الزمن القديم. نعم، فكان العرب في الزمن القديم كانت عندهم كتابات تختلف، فهناك كتابة الألف في آخر كلمة النكرة المنصوبة يختلف من قوم إلى قوم، ولكن لم أتحقق في هذا المسألة، فلا أستطيع أن أجيبك بجواب جيد الآن. Leave your hair. Allahu Akbar. That's it. MP said leave my hair, so that's it. So either that's like a sarcastic kind of thing, leave your hair. Yeah. I think cut your hair short, look smarter, and you look 15 years younger. Alright, so I'm 37 now. 15 years younger would make me 22. No, I don't want to be 22. Yeah, no thanks. Okay, I like you Mufti. Thanks for explanation of istighatha. So 2 arguments are correct and permissible, and I follow what I believe. You can follow whichever one you feel you're comfortable in. When are the Buyu videos going to be from Quduri? So I'm not going to do like I mentioned, I'm not going to do Buyu videos from Quduri. I'm going to do Buyu videos from another book. Because what I want to do is I want to do Quduri in order now. I'm just going to go in order. I think that's the best thing. Because personally, I think buyu has to be understood before you go into kuduri. Which football teams do you support? I think most Muslims support Liverpool. Nah, I don't support football, boy. I support myself. I support Liaqat United. MashaAllah, you are very patient and answer all questions. May Allah reward you in Jannah. Ameen, Ameen. Jazakallah khair. Abdullah. May Allah give you Jannatul Firdaus in this dunya and in the akhirah. Therefore, answer all the questions. May Allah reward you immensely. Ameen. MP. May you become our MP. Yeah, because we don't want, what's his name? Joris. I was asked by someone once to send them the woman's method of wudu. Allahu Akbar. And did you? You didn't make dua and didn't wish me happy birthday. Okay. Happy birthday to why now are you? 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 Yeah. Okay, now. That's it. Okay. Are you Hafiz? No, I'm not Hafiz, unfortunately. I wish I was. Have you got any plans on going to Tablighi Jamaat anytime soon? It's been a while. I mean, I would love to, but not at the moment. No, I was serious about your hair. No sarcasm. Jazakallah khair. I will keep it, inshallah. I'll keep it, but if it gets a bit long. So as you can see, it's very greasy and oily. Yeah. And I need to use... Thing is, guys, my secret is I don't use shampoo. Well, I do use shampoo, but I use it like once every 2 weeks or so. It doesn't mean I take a bath once every 2 weeks, but please don't read into the lines. Which scholars do you recommend listening to in Arabic to help understand Arabic? Listen to... let me think. You know that guy, Maghamasi? Maghamasi? I think he's a good guy to listen to. Maghamasi. Yeah, he's good. Sheikh Umar Kafi, he's good to listen to. Sheikh Tariq Suwaidan, he's good to listen to. هل تتغدى مع مفتي أبو الليث المالكي الصديق ما رأيك فيه؟ هل تتغدى معه؟ لا أتغدى معه. لا أنا أعرفه جيدا. نعم. Any advice on obtaining patience and staying motivated? It's a tough one. I need to ask you that one, Aman. Can you remember look up at from YouTube when you're in Jannah so I can come in too, please? MashaAllah, the way that you said that is as though I've already been guaranteed Jannah. Allahu Akbar. You've already done buyut from Quduri, so it makes sense to do it from a different... Yeah, that's what I was thinking, MP. Yeah, not Hidayah. I think Hidayah is a bit advanced. I'm thinking of doing it from Kanz. What do you think? Kanz or Ikhtiyar? Like another book which you can kind of like, compensate for Quduri as well. I'm trying to grow out a Zulfa. How do you look after it? I'm starting to lose hair and it gets really itchy. Yeah, that's the thing. So what you need to do, you probably get the same problem as me. Get tea gel shampoo and use that. Lord, thank you so much. May Allah bless you and give you the best in this dunya. Ameen. Jazakallah khair, guys. MashaAllah. This is complete now. And inshallah, if there's anything else you guys want to say, because I'm a bit buzzing at the moment. I think I've had this tea, and this tea is kind of put me a bit awake now. It's made me a bit awake. I don't know what's in this tea. It's basically health and heather. It's those kind of what do you call that thing? That somf, that somf stuff. What do you call somf in English? Anyone know? Somf? Any somf lovers? And guess what happened the other day? I went to my local shopping center here, and there's a guy selling honey, and he's had like surrounded at all these different types of honeys. Yeah, and basically, I got caught in the honey, man. Me, if someone convinces me that something's good for your health, I will buy it. And so the guy just caught me, man. So I ended up buying honey from him, and I'm thinking about going there and buying some more. So he had like honey, avocado honey. He had eucalyptus honey. He had these crazy honeys that I've never heard of. I don't know if you guys have heard of them. Okay. What are your views on the new Muslim MPs in Parliament? You know what? I think MPs, yeah, apart from the Corbyn guy, I think most of the other ones are just career opportunists. All they're looking for is just make money, just do something. They're not really they don't have a concern for the country. I think that's what it seems as though. They lie a lot. They, it's for their own sort of like benefit, keep their pockets warm. Yeah, I'm very cynical in these kind of things. What do you think, Ulukabata? What's the tip when you're writing poetry and making everything learn? That's the thing. You're not supposed to do that. Yeah, so they say poetry is supposed to come out of you like, you breathe, like air is supposed to come out of you. Come out at the nafas. That's the secret. So I used to do that before. I used to kind of like think of, what I used to do was make the rhyme. So for example, like da 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 fa'ulun mafa'ilun fa'ulun mafa'ilun. And I would sing that rhyme to myself, keep singing it, and then I would try to put words into that. And it was very hard. I did manage to do some. And I know I told you guys I'll do it, but yeah, that's not how you're supposed to do it. But I like your Rayhan, yeah, mashallah, I like the kind of stuff that you're sending me. Excellent, man, mashallah, very good. You've improved a lot since last time. Yeah, alhamdulillah. Are you still studying with those teachers in Egypt? Tahir Ali, Hall Green, Mosley, Saqib Bhatti for marriage and etc. Oh, I don't know them. Yeah, I'm not too familiar with them. Which Arabic novels you recommend if you know any? Yeah, read. There's actually remind me, email me, and there's some things that I was listening to on YouTube that's done very, very good. A Tale of Two Cities, Les Miserables, Miserables, whatever it's called. There's someone's translating Arabic. They're quite good, good Arabic. قيل لي إنك سوف تشرح الهداية الفقه الحنفي قريبا على يوتيوب صحيح؟ نعم أنا الآن حاولت أن فكرت في ابتدائه إن شاء الله، لكن لم أعزم على الأمر إلى الآن. بارك الله فيك يا طارق. What books do you recommend to get Arabic reading proficiency? I recommend reading other books like Ali Tantawi, very good, and Abu Hassan Nadawi. I would actually like to be an MP, be in the House of Commons and raise. By being in the House of MP, you're sorted. Yeah, once you get there, your wages are sorted. Yeah, you can say anything you like. You can go to sleep. At work you can go to sleep, and your friends are going to sleep as well. That's a chilling life, that is. And you just say stuff. Just go there. Have you heard them on Wednesdays? Okay. Fennel seeds. Bingo. I know you'd come out with that. Yeah, you know that one. Fennel seeds. ما الكتاب سوف تشرح قريبا. نعم. كما قلت أنا فكرت أن أشرح كتاب هداية، لكن ممكن أيضا أشرح مثلا كتاب البحر الرائق. نعم، هو كتاب جيد جدا بحر الرائق، خاصة تحقيقاته في بعض المسائل جيد جدا، خاصة طالب العلم. فإما هذا وإما ذاك. إلى الآن لم أتأكد الأمر، ولكن لو شرحته لا يكون الشرح رسميا بالرسم على الشاشة، يكون درس هكذا شفويا هكذا، ألقي الدرس أمام الطلبة هكذا. What time do you usually stream? Usually about 9:30. أسأل الله أن يشرح صدرك ويسر أمرك ويعلمك من لدن علما ويفتح عليك فتحا عظيما. آمين. سبحان الله. ويجعلك من كبار الأولياء وأحبابي وأصفياء، ويجعلك من المحسنين، ويجعلك من مستجابي الدعاء. ما شاء الله أكبر. بجاه سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. جزاكم الله شكرا. آمين آمين يا رب الجميع. If you studied past 5 qasas, what should you read after that? After that, start with the Mukhtarat. Mukhtarat, excellent. What's the name of the kid story you uploaded in Arabic? It's called Al-Tha'lab wal-Jarrah. I just found it on the internet. Since it's almost midnight, can I have a book review? Yes, you can. I will do that for you. Wa alaikum assalam, Zahir. Do you mean when you said you're not Hafiz, what different scholars? Yeah, I'm not a Hafiz of Quran, But I obviously listen to Quran a lot, and I read Quran a lot, so I know what's in the Quran. So I can quote from here and there, but I can't like stand in front of you in Salat and read the whole Quran. I can't do that. I wish I could. What's the best way to improve fluency in Arabic speaking? Just keep speaking, just speak with everyone. هل الشيخ زهير محمود يتحدث باللغة العربية مثلك؟ نعم، هو يتحدث جيدا ما شاء الله، يجيد العربية الحمد لله. 31 viewers and it's almost midnight. Allahu Akbar. See, subhanAllah, I'm saving the ummah from watching Premiership highlights. Allahu Akbar. Can you do simple lectures on YouTube for kids, teach them Aqidah, Tasawwuf through Quran? They deserve it. Yes, I think they do, definitely. Inshallah. Mukhtarat, who's the author? Abu al-Hasan Nadawi. Okay, for why now, I will go through a book. Okay, shall I do a book review in Urdu? Shall I do an Urdu book review? No, I won't. Okay, for why now, I will do a Usul Fiqh book review. So this is called Al-Fiqh wa Usul Fiqh, and this is basically a compilation of works of various scholars in Usul Fiqh, and Sheikh Zahid Al-Kawthari has done editions on this, so he's done footnotes on these books. So there are several books in this. There's Fiqh Ahl Iraq wa Hadithum. Right, anyone who is studying Hanafi fiqh, I recommend they read this book. Fiqh Ahl Iraq by Sheikh Zahid Al-Kawthari. Very, very good. إحقاق الحق بإبطال الباطل في مغيث الخلق. This is also not a book written by Sheikh Zahid Al-Kawthari, but it has footnotes on there. أقوم المسالك. This is regarding the narration that Abu Hanifa took from Malik and Malik from Abu Hanifa. Right, so there's a discussion that did they take hadith from each other. إشفاق على أحكام الطلاق. So this إشفاق على أحكام الطلاق, this is a book written by Sheikh Zahid Al-Kawthari in response to Sheikh Ahmad Shakir. So Sheikh Ahmad Shakir was a scholar in Egypt, a Hanafi scholar. 21 years he was the Mufti of Egypt. And he wrote a book that 3 talaqs is 1. So he was a Hanafi saying this. So he wrote a book against him. And then الغرة المنيفة في تحقيق بعض مسائل الإمام حنيفة. This is by Al-Imam Al-Ghaznawi. And he basically just talks about certain selected Hanafi masail, اختلافي ones. And Sheikh Zahid Al-Kawthari has footnotes on that. انتصار الترجيح للمذهب الصحيح. This is by Sibt ibn Jawzi. And again, this has got footnotes on there by Zahid Al-Kawthari. النبذ في أصول الفقه الظاهري. So this is basically Imam Ibn Hazm has a usul book. This is it. So he's kind of like mentioned some things which are a bit strange. So Sheikh Zahid Al-Kawthari has kind of written footnotes on this and pointed out errors. So this is the book. Why now? Yeah, this is the book, and I hope you like this book. Hope you like this book review. MashaAllah. Yeah, so as you can see, there's my footnotes in there. I don't have any special footnotes in there, but this is like some things I wrote in the cover of it. Anyway, this is Sheikh Zahid Al-Kawthari, by the way. Yeah, Sheikh Zahid Al-Kawthari. Yeah, he's a Turkish guy. I don't know if you can see him. That was him. Yeah, so yeah, that's it, man. I have these Arabic children novels called Maktaba Khadra lil Atfal. Cinderella is included. I think it's a good for reading practice. Okay. Do you mind if I cut you question and answer stream into the various small videos, especially your fiqh answers, and upload them to YouTube? Yeah, that would be excellent if you can do that, Bahruddin. And you know what? I was actually thinking today, I was speaking to someone today, and I was telling them that if there could be someone out of you guys who could do this, who could timestamp them or cut them into small pieces, that would be excellent. ما يمكن عملك غدا عندي حضور للزفاف. أحد طلبة عندنا يتزوج غدا فعنده وليمة، فإن شاء الله سأحضر في الوليمة. وليمة ليس في مدينتي، في مدينة أخرى، فأحتاج أن أذهب مبكرا إن شاء الله. ثم بعده عندما أرجع ممكن أصنع بعض الفيديوهات. What do you think of Kalila wa Dimna? Yeah, very good. Kalila Dimna, very good. Very in Arabic. It's not really an Arabic book. It's actually from India, and it was translated into Arabic by some early Arabs. Okay, can we come over to your house for clay cups and tea? It's probably more fun than commenting. Yes, of course, bye. You can come down, man. No girls allowed. No, only men. Yeah, only men kind of stuff. Yeah, men tea. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. S. Khan, tell us about your cup, please. So this cup, basically, this was the cup that was first created on earth. And this cup was in the hands of Firaun and the Firaun soldiers. They sold it off. Only joke here, just because someone believes that Firaun had it. Is this the longest live you've broken your record? Thank you very much. Thank you, Sheikh. Look at that wino girls, rude. Allahu Akbar. But look, this is like special gathering, tea gathering, special gatherings where men have to like talk about special stuff. Yeah, look at Patanos. Anyway, that's that, man. Yeah, Jazakallah khair, guys. MashaAllah, I really enjoy. Sometimes I think to myself, should I do a live stream? Should I do a Q&A? But you know what? Some of you guys make my day, MashaAllah. Yeah, alhamdulillah. I know I answer a lot of your questions. Yeah, and I do get tired. But you make my day. You make me feel like, like I've achieved something. And some of you guys, I know some of you guys really kind of find it difficult to find people to ask your questions to. And alhamdulillah. So yeah, I mean, Jazakallah khair. Thank you very much for staying with me all the way. MashaAllah. May Allah reward all of you guys. And if you do have any questions, you know where to ask here. You know who to call, Ghostbusters. And make sure you guys, in the holidays, eat some proper good food here. Don't like eat gora, what's it? What's that stuff they eat, man? Turkey. Turkey's nasty, man. Yeah. I don't know. I haven't really eaten turkey properly, but just too thick, too rubbery. Has anyone ever had duck biryani? I think that's the next thing that is duck biryani. Yeah, what do you guys think? Okay, anyway, Jazakallah khair, guys. Thank you. Like I said to you, near the end of this time, the night time, I just come up with random things here. Yeah, so Bahruddin, you're not going to cut these parts in. You're not going to cut these parts. These are only for you special people. Wa alaikum assalam. Could I ask you something if you don't mind? Are you Pathan? Yes, I am Pathan. Zo Pukhtun yama. Zama ke liye sawabe de. Pakistan ke. Aur zamunga ke liye khas ke liye gandaf numide. Kho zama aksar zama khpalan Karachi ki usigi. Aur zamunga khpalan zo chikam dekana zo England ki usigi. See, first time you guys heard me say some proper Pathan things here. Some Pashtun things. Sam Roshan, are you Pathan? I've been thinking about trying deer biryani. Yes, I think you should think more about it, and maybe I should think more about it as well. Is lobster allowed? You know what? Hanafi madhab, lobster is, later Hanafis have said it's makruh, but I want to taste it, you know that. It's so expensive, have you seen it? I went to the shop the other day, yeah. Guess how much it's for? £75 for a lobster dish. Oof, forget that. Right? How many doner cubs can you buy with £75? Ever since you mentioned last time, yes. Look at that. Chicken biryani all the way. Boring. I made goat biryani. Yes, goat biryani. Yes, I like that. Zam Pakhtun yama. MashaAllah, Idrisa. Pukhtana yi kana. Was good. Zarawayim. MashaAllah, Zaraway. MashaAllah. Mubaraksha. I'm quarter Pathan. Allahu Akbar. Quarter. So I will give you a quarter salam. How do you feel with the hadith rejectors, Quranists? You know what? I feel sorry for them. They're just lost people. Yes, I came to a sofa every week, mashallah, but you come very often, sir. Alhamdulillah, jazakallah khair. Amazing and unique, really. I have not come across Sheikh who answers all questions and enjoys it. Only very few. Jazakallah khair. Thank you very much. MashaAllah. I'm going to get nazar now, guys. Yeah, so I'm going to have to get some that kind of ta'weez or something to save myself from nazar. Jazakallah khair. Anyway, I think I've had too much time. Yeah. And yes, so this week, guys, get ready, yeah? Surah Room. We're going to start Surah Room, inshallah. And we are going to, inshallah, go through. So I want you guys to start the reflection Surah Room. Collect your notes on Surah Room, what you guys feel in Surah Room. Go through the entire Surah Room. Make your notes. Show me what you guys get, inshallah, so we can share our notes, inshallah. And then maybe someone like the sister before who made a whole, remember that kind of whole notes she made? MashaAllah, you gotta give it to her, man. Amazing. Okay. Was the project Project Saw? Huh? Prophet Sallallahu you mean? Vegetarian, apart from Eid? No, he would eat, but it was very rarely found it. They were quite poor people at that time. They couldn't afford it all the time. Imam Malik used to eat meat every day. Okay. All Pathans have arrived. Yes, mashallah. Say mashallah. Quarter don't count. Oi, who are you to say quarter don't count, bro? They do count. Any drop of Pathan blood. Does the concept of being in Jannah forever scare you or seem a bit terrifying? A bit of a weird question, but is it scary to think about? I don't think so. I think it's a realm we can't even imagine. Imagine that. Allah, may Allah make us all, put us all into Jannah. Imagine that in Jannah we have live streams. Yeah, Q&As. That'd be good. Obviously, what questions are we going to have though? Any tips on translating Arabic text? Just, I would say read as much Arabic as you can. Use a dictionary, read as much as you can. What does kana mean in Pashto? Pathans use it. Kana. It means like, isn't that so? Isn't that so? Henna, like in Urdu they say, henna. Electric or manual toothbrush? Electric. But my one's bust, actually. No, it's not, it works. Yeah, but I like using miswak. Any books on status of Sunnah dealing with Quranists? Yeah, Mustafa Sabai, and a book called Al-Hadith Al-Muhaddithun by Abu Zahu. Can you charge someone for ta'weez? First of all, I can't make a ta'weez, but if I could, I would. Please keep the students of As-Safa in your du'as. Ameen, inshallah, I will. Inshallah, I remember, I tell the students, anyone whose face I know, anyone whose name I know, and anyone whose voice I know, I try to remember my du'as. And anyone who I don't know as well. Is it true that the Prophet ﷺ was a millionaire? In the Akhirah, yes. We love you, Ustad. The more the sessions happen, the more smiles you put on people's faces. Allahu Akbar. Look, what are you trying to get some brownie points here, bro? In Jannah, forget live stream. With clay cups and tea, but still no. That's just too funny. Okay, what's with this no girls? I don't want it in Jannah, inshallah. Indians all call the water jug in the bathroom a jumbu, not no. Jumbu. That, trust me. You know what? If anyone has a son here, call him jumbu. Trust me, that jumbu's too killer, man. And I see every time I go to the toilet now, I see the jug. I'm gonna think jumbu. We Pakistanis call it lota. And we in Pathans we call it kuza. Can you please elaborate on the best way to teach Aqeed Tahawi? Is it makruh to clean shave your tash? Okay, I'm gonna have to go now. Jazakumullah khair. Thank you very much, guys. I will see all of you guys next time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. That was too funny, look, but